Welcome everyone to Semi-Auto Pistols Part 1. I had to split this up into 3 separate parts. The reason, of course, being is I had 3 hours of footage to go through, and I didn't want to just post the entire thing because, well, no one wants to just sit there and watch a whole 3-hour video. Not that it really helps that I have a 1-hour video, but well, here we are. Put this on in the background and have a listen while you do other things, maybe take care of chores, or maybe play some games, what have you. At the very least, you can put this on for the background. I don't recommend watching the entire thing all the way through just by itself, just because there really isn't much to be said. But if at all you do, I suppose thank you. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe to me if you want to see more of this. Also, put down in the comments, do you guys want to see me talk about the new Take and Hold level Anton is making? Because I've been very interested in it, and I'm still debating whether or not to do a video on it, just looking through what Anton has, because I am very excited to see what's going on, but do you guys want to see it? Anyways, enjoy the video, and as always, stay safe out there. So, let's talk about...
I make no promises.
None of us have, my friend. None of us have. So, we are going to start off real quick with the ASP, this guy right here. So,
okay, so we're not starting from like top fucking left corner.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at that thing, and if it's what I think it is, good God, throw it in the
No.
Make a new tier, put it in fucking trash. Like
just
F is at least usable to bludgeon someone with. For what that first one looks like, I'm sorry if that's what if it's the Zip 22. I'm sorry, that thing is literally just a fucking fancy paperweight.
Thankfully,
I'm just glad we don't see that fucking bullpup pistol that they made a couple years ago. Thank God.
No.
Have
you guys seen the bullpup, the concept bullpup Glock that no one is ever going to make for any reason at all?
Yes, I have seen it, and
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, we are dealing with the ASP.
Made me want to get in Christian.
All right, so I will actually show what the ASP actually looks like. I will show this for everyone as well. So here is the ASP. This is a 9mm. It looks nice. It's 9mm. It's nothing terrible per se. I will actually show the stats here as well because I feel I should in general. So the most important things I will say to you lads though, and that it's a 7+1, has like most things a detachable magazine. I will say if it doesn't have a detachable magazine, but most of them do. So it's 7+1, everything's semi-auto.
So I was about to say, unless otherwise stated, it has a fucking standard magazine.
Yes. So That is the ASP. I will actually pull up the Wikipedia article right now. One of the things, I actually did a little bit of research on this because it is a bit of a strange gun. So real quick, the sight picture for me was a little bit weird. As it more so shows what's known as gutter snipe irons, if anyone has ever bothered with those at all. I don't think there's actually anything similar to gutter snipe iron sights, but the gutter snipe sights were a little bit weird, but after some time I was able to get a bit more used to it because I didn't exactly know how they worked. And it was super strange for me to end up rolling with. I got a little bit more experience into it, and it does work pretty well. But at the same time, it's like, for long-range shooting, it's not going to help you out too much. For the ASP, I went and put in a 3 out of 5 for the sight picture because it was a little difficult to work with, but at the very least, it was better than nothing. And it was a little weird, but I got used to it, thankfully. Has usual mag drop, slight release, and has very easy, simple 5 out of 5 reload rating. With reload speed, it was very quick at about 0.8 seconds, and an empty reload speed is a full second. So very, very quick reloads. The ASP is definitely, a good sort of pistol that at least works. And also, even being in 9mm, still has 7+1. One thing I did look into, though, some people that have played Call of Duty Black Ops, so anyone played COD Black Ops, I was not one of them, but they actually saw the ASP in-game, oddly enough, which I'm sure people might have not have used it, but it was actually in Black Ops, which is interesting. But the more important thing is that due to novelist John Gardner, he wanted to change up what James Bond used instead of the Walther PPK, which is this guy right here, he wanted something a little bit different. So what exactly would he use? And it turns out it was actually used in, for example, the 89 comic book Permission to Die. So the ASP, I think it actually changed out James Bond old PPK into the ASP. So this is actually now James Bond's new sidearm. So that's an interesting little thing. And looking at the stats, there isn't exactly anything remarkable. It's interesting, it's different, but it's not exactly show-stopping. That's my thought, at least.
Yeah, it's 9mm. It's 9mm, holds a total of 8 rounds. Like, it's nothing really. It's a gun.
Yeah, it's definitely a gun.
It's a gun.
It's a gun. It
like
works.
literally, I would call it basically C tier. You know.
Yeah, like most of these are definitely gonna be C tier. It's like there's nothing really remarkable about it, but there's nothing really special.
I mean, the only thing special about it is that windowed magwell, and even then, that provides you, and I quote, absolutely no tactical advantage whatsoever.
It does.
I mean, it can
but
if you're trying to look down at the gun to see how much ammo you have left, but in the middle of a firefight,
I mean,
you're not gonna look down at the fucking magwell.
Yeah, and most of the time you're just gonna reload anyways.
Yeah, I would say that being in the military, if you have a windowed magazine, it's definitely a lot better to look in that windowed magazine instead of either pulling the magazine out or pulling the slide back just slightly to see if there's actually a round in there. Because having a windowed magazine will let you know roughly how many rounds that you have in there and whether or not you need to reload anyway, in my personal opinion. So I wouldn't say it's a terrible gun to me because I personally haven't shot this one. But I feel like, and honestly, I don't really, I guess I would say vibe with the gutter snipe sight, because it just doesn't seem like a super accurate sight to me. I personally haven't used one, but that's just what I think.
From your training knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, in like my training and stuff, like if it's like super close quarters, this would be, as long as it's, a reliable gun, doesn't jam or anything. Also, if you keep it clean and everything, I feel like it would be a good little gun if the enemy gets too close or if you get desperate for it.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what the gutter snipe sights are mostly for, is more so just short range, quick target acquisition. It's just when you pull it out, you gotta get the sights lined up, and those are just gets you on target very quickly. You just line them up, and you're pretty much in the right ballpark. It's that simple, and that's I think what the gutter snipe sights were meant for. That's what they were designed for. But after that, there's really nothing much different about it. They're a weird sort of sight to work with, and being a first-time user, I didn't know too much about it in terms, how, like, where exactly it is in terms of target practice. Which, by the way, I shot at like about 20 meters or so. So, little bit of an issue there, but it wasn't exactly terrible to run with, I think. Because I think I actually did run with it, if I'm not mistaken. But there's nothing entirely remarkable per se with it. It at the very least works. It's, like I said, it's nothing remarkable, but at the very least does work for what it's supposed to. And what it's supposed to is just quick target acquisition when you're in close quarters, which I've had before with, I believe, the Walther P38, which it worked for sure, don't get me wrong, but these would definitely do a slight bit better, but not too much that it gives you an advantage. So I'd say it's almost unanimous. It's probably going to be C tier.
Yeah, that's my vote, C tier.
Yeah, I would say C tier.
All right. So it's definitely a gun. It works well. It's different, but it's not enough.
It's a gun.
It's a gun, but it's not exactly any different than any other gun. So next up, this is the Bergman number 5.
I got some stories.
Boy.
I don't like it. It hurts my eyes.
It's an
It hurts my eyes. Oh god.
Like, I think like Wild
looks
West.
Like,
Question
it looks
mark?
like a C. It looks like a C96 with Down syndrome.
You're probably not.
I mean, you can bleep that out.
No. Don't not censor that. That shit was funny.
So real quick, I will say the Bergman 1896
on the roster.
The Bergman 1896 was a little bit different per se. This is now the mag-fed version. It is in 7.6.
From what I remember, there were like a couple different models.
Yeah, and also they are in fact in, I believe, 8mm Bergman, which definitely works. But the Bergman
what?
the Bergman number 5 I decided to look into actually was in 7.63 with 25 Mauser, and had a 10 and 20+1 capacity magazine. So it's actually 2 different mags. Reload speeds were pretty much the same. Reload rating is, well, see, side action reload rating is about a 5 and 4, so it is pretty okay.
Which, one thing about the Bergmans that I will give them credit for, let's say if you fire off 2 rounds but you don't want to swap out a whole mag, you can actually just lock it back and push the bullets in from the top.
Yeah, that is also a thing that we're going to get into with the C96 here soon. And I think maybe a couple other guns. Some of those do have that capability of, being able to actually lock it back.
Yeah.
Properly, at least. Not everything, but some do have it. Some like the SKS doesn't, but the C96 does.
So, from what I personally know of the firearm, not a whole lot, I'll be honest. And my very limited experience with the gun is actually through Showdown when I use it, but that's no, I'm not gonna claim that as like some anecdotal evidence of it functions well. No, like sure it saved my life a couple times in that game, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But then again, dual wielding any semi-automatic pistol that's magazine fed, when you need to put bullets downrange today, like
that is definitely a way of doing it.
It's a gun.
It's a gun, and it works.
I mean, the only little advantage of that is that tiny little bits of reload that you can do every now and then.
Yeah,
and
thankfully
that's nowhere enough to push it up into B tier. Yeah. Again, it's a gun.
It's a gun.
It might be a little heavier.
If I had to use it, I would. It looks like it does have you can actually see how many rounds you have in it, which is nice. But at the same time, it being as old of a pistol it is, I can 100% guarantee you there's no cover on there to like prevent dirt from getting in there.
Yep.
So I have no doubt that this thing probably jams from time to time.
Yes, more.
So me personally, I've actually never even seen this gun before. I've never worked with it, never seen it ever. If I had to use it, would I? Yeah, I would use it.
Because again, it's a gun.
If I find something better, like I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, so my vote's for like low C tier.
I would actually say D tier.
Honestly,
if I'm being honest, I'd say
in that
D
case,
tier.
like a high D tier.
I'd be willing to say this is probably C tier. It's a gun, it works, and it does, and it will at least work well enough to keep you going.
I mean, yeah, I can concede there a little bit. But on the same note, though,
I mean, if we were going on looks alone, I would put it in F tier.
On looks alone, I don't know. That should be staying in D tier.
I mean,
yeah, it would go.
Hey, fuck, bringing it back real quick just to show you lads just how this thing looks. Straight to Brazil. Let's be honest.
Straight to Brazil.
Straight to Brazil. If it were looks alone, yeah, straight to Brazil. This thing doesn't exactly look great. This doesn't look good.
It doesn't look great. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad. But,
it's not bad.
It's not appealing. It was definitely function over form on that one.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I am looking at pictures of this on my end, and there's somebody that put an extended barrel on it.
Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the
shield
thing.
Your eyes.
Why?
Yeah, it hurts to look at.
Yes, that is actually a 12-inch barrel. Yes, they do exist. So I'd say, if anything, this would probably be C tier in the functions of the game. It doesn't look good, but it
very low.
If at the very least you start with it, it'll work for a while, and it'll definitely carry you through up to like round 3 and hold 3. But this thing isn't exactly going to go too terribly far. It'll work, but it's not going to work that well. Well, it'll work a little bit better, but not enough to give it an advantage, I'd say.
Yeah,
so I would say C tier.
Yeah, me personally, I would say D tier, mainly
for the other pistol.
Yeah, just put it on USP.
I personally would say D tier mainly for the fact that it has those windows on the magazine, and I know for a fact that thing
shit's gonna fucking
gets dirty as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. But I'd say at the very least, in terms of its functionality, which we're mostly looking at, but aesthetics does kind of put a bit of a role into it. C tier at best. Are we gonna put it a little lower into D tier?
Honestly,
well,
I mean, I will admit it don't look good, you know. Like it's just
it don't.
I mean, a lot of pistols don't look good.
Well, no, they don't look good, but
it's not about looks though. It's about does it work.
Well, okay, every one of these guns work, and this does work well in terms of armor piercing. But at some point, it's like, God damn it, these are so goddamn similar. We have to look at like the history and its looks. Does it look good? Is it gonna look good with you using it? You know, what's the history behind it? It's like, at some point, it's like, you're gonna have to look into the history a small bit. You're gonna have to look into how good it looks and everything. It's like, small thing here and there can teeter it just a little bit. Might be enough to put it in a different tier, but not enough to really give it too much an advantage. Some of these are just gonna be too similar sometimes, but...
So it's a low C tier.
Yeah, definitely low C tier, maybe high D tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on, we have the great, I believe it was John Moses Browning that went and got this, the Browning High Power 9mm. I don't think there is too much. Classic. I don't think there's too much that needs to be said.
I'm not gonna let my bias get a hold of me here, but there's part of me saying, "Fuck it, S tier."
I mean, I feel that.
I make jokes.
But if it has the word Browning in it, it's automatically S tier.
I mean, I feel
let's be honest with ourselves. Come on.
Our Lord and Savior John Moses Browning.
Seriously.
Our Lord and Savior John Moses Browning.
Indeed.
He probably offended over half the world with that.
Probably, but okay, hear me out. The Browning High Power is honestly pretty interesting. I will say, John Moses Browning, absolutely fucking ahead of his time, though not as much as Hugo Schmeiser, but that's beyond the point.
That's a different
sort of thing, and we will get into that later, which sadly one actually does hurt me pretty badly. Anyways, Browning High Power 9x19 absolutely got top marks in sight picture and reload rating. It was absolutely fun to work with. Has a 13+1 capacity, and reload speeds are about a 0.1 second off. So it took me about 1.5 seconds to reload this thing. Most of these are going to be super quick most of the time. Anything that's different will be said. But backdrop slide release, nice reload time, sight picture, and reload rating is fantastic. 13+1 capacity. This thing, I would probably say, might almost get to B tier, I'm going to be honest. Like, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good pistol to end up getting on a run. I'm willing to say, like, this might almost reach B tier. It is, like, having a 14+1 capacity in a 9mm.
Especially back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Dear God, back in the
time.
day. So,
for its time.
Yeah.
For its time. Good God, it was S tier.
Oh, for its time, it was S tier.
But comparing it to every single other gun that we have on this list, it would have to be, I would say, at the highest B tier.
Yeah, at the highest it would be
functionality-wise B tier.
Yeah, at the highest it'd be B tier, and
high B.
High B for sure. Fuck. I'm willing to say, like, for something like this, it would definitely be somewhere close enough to B and B tier. Like, this thing is honestly almost kind of legendary, with just how simple but fantastic this thing was. It was made back in 1935, and I don't think there was anything in terms of like pop culture this thing was used in. I mean, everyone just knows the Browning High Power. It's just a thing that, dear God, there's a lot of fucking countries using this. From fucking Argentina to Zimbabwe, there's a lot of fucking countries here. Holy Jesus. I mean, that should at least tell you just how much
like I said, our Lord and Savior, John Moses Browning.
That is, in fact, very true. Sorry my internet is not doing so good, but oh well. Yeah, that's definitely fair.
That's right. Oh, we have our first B tier.
For sure, I think this thing is B tier. This thing is kind of legendary to like a lot of people, so I'm willing to put it B tier. It's not too much an advantage, but this thing is just legendary in its own right. I think that deserves a little extra marks.
Like it functions well.
It functions great. It definitely is pretty good. It is honestly fun to run with, but I think just because of its legend, it does deserve a few extra marks to put it a little above. Just a little bit.
Oh, like we're saying, like from functionality wise, it's a B tier.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if we're comparing like older fashioned guns, if we were just comparing the old fashioned like World War I, World War II, and before guns, oh yeah, this thing would be an S tier. Remember, we got more modern firearms in this.
Oh, absolutely. We're covering several different firearms here.
Yeah.
So next up is
the one I've been waiting to shit on.
Yes, the one I'm kind of sad to say that I have to shit on it quite a bit. In fact, the C93.
Bad to say, no, it's a guarantee. Oh, the C93.
Yeah,
I thought we were doing the Nambu number 4.
No. The Nambu. Oh god, the Nambu's like. I mean, we're doing this alphabetically, by the way. The Nambu. I don't know if we even have the Nambu somewhere. Do we?
It's here. It's right next to the C94, like in your pictures.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's that fucking T-bone looking motherfucker.
What, this guy? I don't think you mean this
next to the C94.
There's multiple T-bones.
Exactly.
Okay, top row.
Yeah.
Furthest to the left.
So this is C93. This is C96. And
I've seen it. Oh. I've been shitting on that.
Are you?
Am I blind?
Are you blind?
I
Are you blind? You dare insult! You dare insult the C96!
not
It
the
looks
How
C96.
fucking
dare you?
Nambu, okay?
You filthy casual!
Shoot, sue me.
Okay, we're looking
I'm
at
sorry.
this gun, boys. The C93 board chart. All right.
Okay, okay.
Let's.
I
We're
looked-
doing.
I'm sorry. I couldn't see the fucking fat ass set of balls at the other end because
It's like a
the picture that I had to look at from your little tiny point there, it looked like the fucking Nambu number 4.
I am sorry that these pictures do not look good. I did the best. I did the best I could with what I had. It doesn't look great, but it at least works. Anyways, we're
It
talking about
functions.
we're talking about the C93 board chart, and I have to show on this pretty badly, which kind of makes me sad. I ran with this, and
It's a sad day because
it is sadly a very sad day because I did run with it. It
fucking
was.
I love the look of it.
Okay, I will say, to me it looks fucking stupid, but it does work, and I do kind of love it. Definitely a lot of similarities. I mean, same here. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that it looks so fucking dumb with that giant ball sack on it, but I do like how it looks. I am not shitting on it for that. I'm shitting on it because of its sight picture being so fucked. And it hurts me to say that.
If we're talking about sight pictures, what's a sight picture?
Yeah, the sight.
You don't aim down the sights of that thing. You just kind of point it in the vague direction and hope to guide your head.
That's honestly the best you can do with it, because the sight picture does not work well. I have tried my absolute best to try and run with it. It does not fucking work. I honestly am willing to actually put it at almost a 1 out of 5 in sight picture. It is not at all good, which honestly sucks. Because I don't want to shit on this too badly, but this, like, okay.
Be honest.
The only reason why it's a 2 out of 5 is because the sight picture does look good. That doesn't mean it functions good. It looks good. It doesn't function good. It's the only reason why it's 2 out of 5. But it's shit. It's absolutely horrible, and I fucking hate that it is that way. It's an 8+1, fantastic in reload, pretty much the same reload as well, but its sight picture is what really, really hurt to put it down so goddamn low. And I'd be almost willing to say, because of its sight picture being so fucked, it might almost reach F tier.
Yeah, I mean, if it's usable, I would put it in D tier.
I'm willing to put it in D tier. Like,
chances are, if I have to use that thing, it's probably well in close quarters where I don't even have to use the sight.
That is indeed
so
fair.
It's definitely serviceable. It's just the sight sucks.
Yeah, the sight is honestly terrible, and it does at least work. It is the scene. It is also in 7.65 by 25 Borchardt, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Not exactly anything special in terms of its penetrating power, but it is pretty good, thankfully. So I would say, if anything, it'd probably be D tier for sure. It's thankfully only the sights are absolutely terrible. So now we get into the absolute god that is the C96 Mauser. And dear God, who doesn't know this gun?
We don't even have to review this one. It's already S tier.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the Red 9.
We are talking about the big boy.
That shit's fucking S tier. Put it in S tier.
Mind you, also
My broom handle.
Yes, the
Good shit
fucking
right there.
broom handle.
You could turn that thing into a
Absolutely.
fucking pocket pistol, my guy.
Seriously, this
Put
thing
that
is
shit in fucking S tier.
honestly just
I will
fantastic.
say. See, here's the thing: is that we are basing this off bias. Now, the earlier versions of it, it wasn't always because there are some that are that you can actually put a magazine in. There are some that you actually have to use a stripper clip for.
And watch your thumb. It will bite.
Depending on which version that you have, will basically depend on whether it's S or A tier.
Yeah, that's why I'm willing to say
not to mention that the C96 there are variations that do go full auto.
Yes.
So it is
variations that do
machine.
full auto,
Yes.
variations that have like proper fucking like long
Yes.
barrels, and you can use the fucking
yes,
holster stock
And
and,
it- you-
basically make it into a fucking carbine.
yes.
exactly.
No, I will say this is the classic Mauser. There is actually two other variants that I did actually put into separate places, which is the auto version, which is actually quite simply the actual mag-fed auto version, which actually does have several different types of magazines. But also, there's the Mauser Soul Carbine, which is slightly cursed, but it does look good. Don't get me wrong, it fucking looks great.
It's cursed as fuck.
It's cursed
But I love
as
it.
fuck, but it looks damn good and functions essentially the same way, but it does have its extra Thompson foregrip and also a stock, which extremely helps with accuracy, enough to make it an SMG. I'm willing
Yes,
to die on that
but-
hill.
Yes.
But this is the
we're
classic.
not there now.
Yeah, this is the classic,
classic.
Mauser. So
And I will say, between the really good versions of it and the kind of shitty versions of it, let's split the difference, put it in it.
I would definitely say this is definitely deserves to be an A tier. To go over everything real quick, it has an internal magazine and is also in 7.63 with 25 Mauser, which does actually give it some penetrating power, which is good. It goes through tier 1 armor, has an internal magazine, 10 rounds each. Sight picture is absolute god tier. I don't know what it is about into and just after World War II. The Russian and German sights in those times are fucking beautiful. They are so good. Oh, I love them.
Back up, Connor.
What?
Back up for a second. This thing was World War One.
That is true. Even still, well,
Yeah, like
it's
this thing was outdated in World War One. Let's be fair.
that's fair, but even still, it's around like especially World War II and just after World War II. The sight pictures on some of these guns were fucking incredible. I just absolutely love them. So reload does take some time.
Really good at making guns because of fucking World War One.
Yeah, but even still, the sight pictures were super great, even around back then too. Some of these guys have really great sight pictures, and I'd almost put them a little above, but I'm not because bias would fuck that up pretty badly. And some do have higher ones, mostly because they're kind of cheating. But one thing I will say about the C96, the broom handle, is, I mean, everyone knows, first off, this is the blaster
The Red
pistol.
9.
Yeah, the Red 9 also. But this is also the blaster pistol used by Han Solo. Anyone that didn't know that, you need to fucking... You need to just
Fucking
research
watch
my
the
guy.
original trilogy, you fucking uncultured swine.
Seriously, like, at this point, like, anyone that knows anything about guns, you should know this. And if you don't, have a watch of that again, because trust me, it is actually the Mauser. I don't know exactly which one, but
It's
it is
just
the
got a
Mauser.
few
I promise.
gubbins on it.
I think actually my brother has one, if I'm not mistaken. He has a little BB version of it, which is pretty cool. Also, the Mauser does have a slide lock. Not every one of these guns that has an internal magazine has a slide lock. The Mauser does, which does make it a little bit better. So you actually can reload with stripper clips, like you should. And the reload speed with stripper clips, about 2.8, almost 3 seconds. But it's not terrible to do. And thankfully, you can also just rack the slide and just send it away. Well, actually, no, I think you can also...
Unless you get your thumb caught in the basically if you get bit by it, then it's like that is a bitch.
This is a little bit of a bitch. But hey, even still, it does a slide lock and also a slide release, which is pretty nice. So I'd say, if anything, this thing is honestly completely and utterly iconic. And it is still pretty good to roll with. I have to admit, you feel pretty powerful with it, and it is actually pretty good. I'd be willing to say, because of its iconic ways, it should at least be A tier 2.
A tier. End of story.
Moving on, we have
fuck is
something
this?
yeah, so this is a little bit of a different one. The Cobb pistol, which, let me pull it up really quickly. So let me show you the full picture of it, because sadly these pictures are not great. This is the Cobb pistol. This thing is
fucking
weird.
Derringer.
No, I promise you, it's not a Derringer. We'll deal with those at a later time. This is not a Derringer. This is an actual semi-auto pistol. This thing is weird, though, and it honestly looks a little strange. This is during the 105 update.
A little.
A little bit. But, hey, even still, it does a slide lock and also a slide release, which is pretty nice. So A little.
I swear to God, is that a tube fed pistol or is that a double barrel on it?
It's not a double barrel, I promise you. I don't know what the fuck sort of weird
swear to
shit is
God.
with this. So let me go
What
ahead.
the fuck is that? Is that to fucking push this fucking the rail back, the fucking slide back?
So
Is that where the spring is?
So
Oh god, this thing is disgusting.
yeah, so actually we don't really have anything in terms of like a Wikipedia article, but apparently Ian from Forgotten Weapons actually had a video titled "Odd Iver Johnson Prototypes." So that's interesting to say the least. And let's see, yeah, this is a prototype pistol patented by Lyman H. Cobb. Basic blowback similar to the FNM 1900 in caliber and configuration. So this thing is a 32 ACP with an 8+1, but has the little itty bitty tiny charging handle in the rear, as you can see right here. So this thing is kind of weird,
That's a charging handle?
that right there is the charging handle. Yes.
It looks like a Nerf gun.
It really does.
It does.
It,
And it's also
Fucking
screw
Nerf
built.
jolt.
Not only that, it's also screw built.
It's
So
a fucking Nerf
it
jolt.
looks it looks like something I'd shoot my cousin with.
I feel that.
Painted orange, it just might be. Fuck.
So real quick, we don't have too much in the ways of 38 or
I love how we're
32
we're
ACP.
shitting on this thing unceremoniously.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm sorry, it looks like a fucking Nerf gun.
yeah,
It's a
and-
fucking Nerf jolt. Fuck off.
yeah. This thing is honestly not exactly seriously remarkable, and it's also in 32 ACP.
Oh.
Please tell me for the love of God that there's a magazine in that and that is not a tube-fed pistol.
It is actually mag-fed. It has an 8+1 capacity, thankfully. The sight picture is really, really small. I actually remember rolling with this. The sight picture is very small, but it still is pretty good, and it actually is pretty on target. So that was able to get at least a 4 out of 5. Reload rating was easily clear. Because of the charging handle not having slide release, the reload speed did kind of suffer a little bit from it, in that it was about a second or so just to show the mag in, but I actually had to pull it back, which did kind of cause a little bit of an issue with reload, but not terrible enough to cause it a bit of an issue. Yes! That's exactly what that
I
is.
see no difference.
I see
I see no
difference.
difference.
Oh my fucking god. That is exactly what that is.
There is none. It's like
Oh my goodness.
that tube on the bottom is not. It's where you store the extra foam dart.
Anyways, so oh fuck me. All right, moving on. So this is the Cobb pistol. This thing is honestly not great. It looks weird. It's not great, and it is in 32 ACP.
Looks weird. Connor, it looks like a fucking Nerf gun. It looks like you're trying to shoot someone with it. You're kind of looking more annoyed, if anything. Like, less like, oh, you shot me, and we're like, what the fuck did you just shoot me with? A goddamn parrot? The fuck is that?
Barely even the fucking, like, you literally fucking shoot peas at someone as well. It's in 32 ACP, my guy. This thing is so
Oh,
fucking...
God.
So, there...
No,
Literally a pea shooter.
stick that bitch in fucking F tier. I would rather carry a high point.
Okay.
I would rather carry a high point. Looks better than that piece of shit.
Oh, Lord.
Like, in terms of looks, the caliber,
point.
it's not good. It's not good at all, man.
And a high
Garbage.
and a high point actually looks like a Nerf gun.
It's blocky as fuck, I know.
Oh my
I
god.
High point in here. We have a high point in here. We have a high point in got pistols too, so
Yeah,
it's
we
gonna be on
do.
here
We
somewhere.
do actually have a high point, but we don't have it in the list just yet. I'm only doing 105. I'll do an update on 110 at some point, but right now I'm not doing that. So, are we putting this in F
I swear to
tier?
God, I'll have a stroke.
I mean,
That's
fuck.
F tier.
The only other fucking 32 ACP that comes to mind that would be willing to be put in F tier, but actually would be put in D tier, is the Jetfire. This thing is also in 32 ACP and is a tiny little fucker. At least I think it is. Let me make sure of that.
We'll deal with that when we get there. We'll deal with it when we get there.
We will, in fact.
We'll
for
cross
sure.
that bridge when we get there.
Alright,
We'll burn
yes.
that bridge when we get there.
We'll burn that bridge when we get there. I love that. Yeah, no. Oh, no, excuse me. That's the 25 ACP. But even still, something like that would still reach D tier because this thing looks so fucking weird. And the Jetfire actually looks good, even if it isn't 25 ACP.
No. It doesn't look weird. It looks gross. Like, it looks like it has cancer. Like it's going through chemo. But, like, terribly.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
All right, we're putting the fucking Cobb at F tier of all places. I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Honestly,
it is bottom of F tier. It's bottom of F tier. How are you surprised by that? How the fuck are you surprised by that? Look at that thing. It looks fucking sick.
It looks like it would be more effective to beat people to death with it than actually shoot them.
I mean, fuck. Okay,
real
quick.
You have a better chance of killing someone by throwing it at them.
So, real quick, I have to ask the question. Would you guys roll with the Cobb pistol in 32 ACP or the Jetfire 950 in 25 ACP?
So I'm either throwing something at someone or I'm throwing something at someone. Where's the difference? I see no difference.
That's fair. All right, let's move
25 ACP, I might as well shit at them. After Taco Bell, that might do something.
You could literally fucking go full ape and you could literally go full ape and just throw shit. I can literally
throw my shit at them.
It will actually do more damage because of the psychological factor.
Like, yeah, they're not gonna die from the bullet. They're gonna die of laughter if you pull that thing out.
Yeah. I'm not even sure they'll actually fucking die of laughter. They'll just look at you like, is that really all you had, man? They'll feel sorry for you. Anyways, they'll
feel sorry for you. Just let you walk off.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and stop that bullshit.
Let's hit that one when we come to it.
Yes, yeah. We'll deal with the Jetfire later. Let's talk about something that might actually get to S tier just because of the caliber itself. This is the Cyber Pistol. So I don't know if this actually just spawned a taken hold or not, but even still, there are some 10mm DSMs out there. The Cyber Pistol is, simply
10mm.
Yeah, so it is a 10mm, but this is actually a very powerful 10mm. This thing is fucking ridiculous.
10mm is powerful.
Okay, there's the difference between 10mm auto, which is much hotter than your 9mm. 10mm DSM is not actually a legitimate
I've been looking
cartridge.
at that the entire time, and I thought that thing was a fucking toy.
It is, but it actually kills.
It looks like a toy gun.
Pull up the picture so I can actually look at this thing.
Pull the full picture.
Yeah. Here, let me, because this thing is just, this thing is honestly powerful. I'm willing to admit. The 10mm DSM, we're dealing with sluggers, by the way. This is the Cyber Pistol. So, this thing honestly looks like a toy.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What is that, Private?
I will admit that is absolutely the case. But
someone play the theme for Cyberpunk. I'm looking at this thing. Goddamn.
I will say though, this gun and its caliber literally does actually make you just go.
Well, yeah, it's 10mm. I understand 10mm is a lot hotter than most pistol cartridges.
Oh no,
most.
Shut
the fuck up.
No,
shut the fuck up, A fan.
10mm DSM is an extremely powerful cartridge, and I will actually show you guys real quick what I'm looking at. So this is 10mm auto. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I knew it was made for one of our fucking intelligence agencies.
Yeah. So obviously, it goes from level 1. So real quick, it goes from level 1 to 4. As well as also how powerful it is to make someone just go kaboom, basically make it explode. We're dealing most often full metal jacket. Pretty good. And it at least goes through level 1 armor. That's 10mm auto. 10mm DSM is all the fuck way down here. This is 10mm DSM. This bitch will rip through just about fucking anybody. Hell, it goes through even the toughest armor. Level 4 is the highest you can get to, and that's via the Gladiator.
Well, I'm fucked.
Yes, this thing is fucking dead.
Yeah, I'm fucked.
Pray to God you are not in the line of sight of this thing, or it will rip through 3 different people and then tear through your level 3 armor. Or your shield, doesn't matter which. This thing is
cover,
deadly.
Fuck you, and fuck the 10 guys behind you.
Exactly. That is what 10mm DSM does. That's why I'm willing to say the Cyber Pistol would very likely, just from the caliber alone, reach S tier.
From the caliber alone, S tier, but from the looks, I'm sorry, that shit looks like something from Cyberpunk.
I'm willing to say at the very
These
least,
are bad, but it
I
looks
could
too much like a
definitely-
fucking toy.
Yeah, I could definitely use it. It looks odd, but I'm not gonna let that take away from the fact that it is a very good pistol, even if it is just in game. So I'm gonna put my bias on how it looks aside, and I would say put it in A or S.
Closer to the A. Unfortunately, yeah, I gotta move the.
the caliber
Oh, I
alone
feel
makes it
so
top
bad
A
for-
tier for sure. It almost reaches S tier. Don't get me wrong.
It's
the-
look.
the
It's what
mounts
detracts
are,
it.
yeah, it does kind of detract it from S tier probably, but we'll look at it later and see if maybe the caliber alone does bring it to S tier. But something that's probably not going to make it to S tier, let's be honest, is the CZ75 Shadow. This is the CZ75 Shadow. Pretty simple, nice little
So
pistol.
another fucking like bad guy's gun number 12.
Essentially, it's a simple 9mm pistol, 17+1 capacity.
It's fucking bad guy's goon. This belongs to fucking goon number 2. Okay.
Yeah. This is Goon Force pistol right here.
Like, I swear to God.
Looking at it right now, the slide looks really small.
yeah,
Like
it's
it goes down into the body of the. It goes down into the body of the gun.
Yeah.
So it feels like I feel like if you were actually trying to grip it, like in a quick situation, it would be kind of hard.
End up grabbing most of the
Like
fucking body.
especially if you're not used to it.
yeah,
So
but
not to
thankfully
mention that the body of the gun itself overlaps, and so there's that lip right there I can see.
oh yeah, for sure.
And so you may accidentally grab that and try pulling that back, and like, what the fuck? Why is it not working? Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong part of it.
And then
Pull it back.
all of a sudden, well, I'm now perforated.
Yep.
Yeah. Now.
So real quick, going through a little bit of.
Oh dear, I seem to have perforated.
Oh, good. Oh, great heavens, I seem to have been perforated.
Oh great heavens! Oh dear!
Oh, great heavens, I appear to be ventilated.
Yep.
Oh,
Free
goodness.
ventilation. I won't lie, like, it's your basic 9mm, how much is a hole?
Yeah. So real quick, going through basics and everything and all, it was actually made by it's actually made by the Czechs. Oddly enough, it's made by the Czech Republic in 1975 of all places, as part of the Wonder Nines.
Oh, the 70s.
Yeah, fucking 70s, man.
70s were pistol, okay.
Yeah, 70s pistol style. This thing is as
Still look like shit.
I mean, it does have a good capacity, which definitely would put it up higher in C tier, but even still, it's like still 9mm.
What's this capacity?
At 17+1.
Okay, so that's actually really good.
Yeah,
So that would be a higher C tier.
yeah. That's like
Yes.
I said, it would definitely be more higher C tier compared to
Maybe
the others.
pushing B tier?
Maybe, but
pushing B tier.
maybe pushing into B
Like
tier, but
C plus.
yeah, definitely a C plus for sure. And some like the Glocks in some cases will also get to about, I think, relatively C
Glocks,
tier.
I'm sorry, Glocks are fucking, no offense to Glock fans, but y'all fuckers need to stop fawning
Binging.
over the same box.
Yeah, it's
all
literally
right,
small.
all right.
We will deal with
Hang
that at a
on.
later time.
Take a step back real quick.
It's like, I'm sorry, the thing is, it's square on top.
Listen, there's no other gun that I feel comfortable shooting sideways than a Glock. Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, that's fair, but
Keep in mind that Lux over here is one of the whitest people I know,
yes.
and that includes Afro.
Yeah. Hell, it also includes me.
Well, you're Scots-Irish, that doesn't fucking count.
Fuck off.
See, no,
Anyways,
you're that fucking, like, European breed of white. I mean, like, Lux over here is
I'm
like
a European mutt. What are
American.
you talking about? I am a European mutt, but I am definitely American. Trust
Yeah, I was
me.
gonna say, again, American white versus European white.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
yes, there is in fact very much difference. So, getting back onto the 32 ACP,
Oh, 30,
So-
we're back to 32.
back to 32
yeah.
again. We have
Back
Something-
to pissing at people.
yes, and we are dealing with the Deaglov.
The what?
The what?
Sorry, I think I just had a stroke. What did you say?
The Deaglov.
I'm sorry. Did you just say? Oh my god!
What the fuck?
What the fuck is that? No! No, they neutered my deagle. They neutered my deagle. No. Fucking F tier right now.
Make a new one. Make a new one.
Any information on it? F tier right fucking now.
They took the worst qualities of a deagle and a
this video is no longer work friendly. Fuck that gun. Put it in F tier.
No, make a new tier below F tier.
All right. Here, hang on.
Oh yeah, make it.
Go,
oh my god, make it.
We'll go below F tier here. We'll just simply make it easy. Add row below. There we go.
Cursed trash.
Yeah.
No,
make it like fucking like.
Sorry.
Blue.
There we go.
Make it like. Yeah, make it like blue or pink or something.
And then like change the color. Change
the color. Here, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do this. Make it black. Cursed. Doesn't exactly look good, but you know what? It
There we go.
There you go.
Oh god.
Can't see it. Can't see the letter.
You can't even see it. It is cursed.
Nope.
Here, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go ahead and do this here. It is cursed. At the very least, people can see it now. It is simply just cursed. It is just, it should not exist. Thankfully, doesn't.
Was disgusting.
I'll show
like
real quick.
Oh god, I fucking.
Real quick, I'll show the stats real quick here. It is actually surprisingly good in terms of sight picture and reload rating.
Oh god.
But well, also it is also 14 plus 1.
Connor,
But
no.
this thing is still cursed.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it's 14 plus 1. The fucking rounds are microscopic. What?
I would have better luck chewing up a piece of paper and firing out a fucking straw. I might better. Fuck.
Anyway, so
right.
getting past
Okay, moving
that,
on. Next
You
gun,
said
please.
getting past that, we have
Ugh.
the great, the venerable, the powerful.
There's an eagle. .50.
We have the Desert Eagle 50 cal.
Eagle 50A.
Yes.
The
50
Eagle
AE.
50A.
This thing is honestly
There we
incredible. And
go.
actually,
That's my bleach here.
This is the Desert Eagle 50 AE, mind you. I'm looking at specifically, but this is covering all of them. Granted, not really looking into any of the new ones, but that's only because I don't know of any of the new ones. Anyways, the original is the Desert Eagle.
These
50.
engravings.
Yeah. So
Provide no tactical advantage whatsoever.
yeah. So we're looking at
Alright,
this
Snake.
one specifically. This is the 50 AE.
Fuck on character.
This is the Desert Eagle 50 AE. We are also looking at we're looking at the Desert Eagles collectively, not just the 50 AE style. So there's 357 Magnum version, the 44 Magnum version, and the 50 AE version, which all have 9, 8, and 7 plus 1 capacities, all respectively. They all have good sight pictures, all have a very nice reload rating. It is very quick to reload them, thankfully. Looking at everything right now, I think the 50 AE version is actually the only one, and still is now, thankfully, the only one that actually does have a top and bottom rail. I think
So you could put a sight on it if you wanted to.
you could put a sight and a laser on it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So
A sight, or you could be the jackass who puts a fucking M203 on the bottom of it.
if you
I'm
wanna
gonna
do
be
that,
honest. Good luck putting a sight on there that's not gonna break when you fire that thing.
Yeah.
that is fair. That is honestly fair.
So,
But again, you could be that jackass who decides to put a fucking M203 underbarrel on the fucking
alright.
Eagle.
So,
Yeah.
how does it work in the game? Like, how effective
Well,
is
it's
it?
50 AE.
It's
This is
50 AE,
the version
so
we're talking
it
about.
very much will actually work just as you think it will. But I will actually look at it anyways because I feel like
The only
good.
issue I have with the standard 50 AE, and specifically, it's not with the gun itself, it's with the magazines. I understand bigger bullet, less space in the magazine, you know,
Yep.
all that shenanigans. Just personally, honestly, and again, personal opinion here, no real way in with the rating. You can only fire time, or you have to 7 if you get a fucking, you have to reload and partial if you do a full reload. Which, you know, again, sure, that's 7 problems removed, just fucking sent to fucking Narnia, okay? But
I mean, that bullet's gonna go through whatever you're shooting,
Yeah.
so it could be more than 7 problems that get removed.
it
but
It's
could
very
be
possible.
7 problems that get sent to Narnia, yes. But the likelihood of that happening, I wouldn't rely on it. personally.
Yeah. So,
But still, it is very much I point this at you. You are going somewhere else. I don't care where. Maybe Brazil.
If you pull this thing out, it's definitely a statement.
It's very much
you're making a
exclamation.
Listen,
It's an exclamation.
It is a promise.
your life.
It is a demand.
Like
your life is now forfeit.
I would
I decide what you do. I
rather
decide
have
if
my
you
wrist
live or die.
broken than have you be alive. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
right
I'd
there.
rather break my wrist
would-
than you.
Yes, and that does bring up a problem with the
50 AE.
the 50 yes with the 50 AE because the pistol in real life is yes. So the pistol in real life, I haven't actually fired one, but from all the stories that I've heard, it's definitely a pistol that you bring out like on special occasions. It's not one that you would ever carry. It's not one that you'd really even use for home defense. It's definitely
it's a status symbol.
Hey, I have this really it's like you bring it out on special occasions, like to whatever.
It's like me with my 338 Lapua. You know?
Yeah,
it is.
It's like me when I had my 44 Magnum, except I was crazy enough to actually daily carry that thing.
Jesus H Christ.
Fucking 7-inch bull barrel, baby.
Damn straight.
Fuck yeah. Am I American or what?
Seriously.
I mean, okay, Lux. To be fair, I've been looking at getting a revolver chamber 570.
45-7. Oh, same.
Yeah.
I shit you not. That's gonna be my new daily carry when I get back.
Same.
You thought 44. You thought 44 Magnum with a 7-inch bull barrel on it was insane. Yeah, 45-70.
Goodbye, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's like a 15-pound revolver right there alone.
Oh
And
god.
probably carry that thing on a sling.
Oh god.
Yeah. Bye wrists. Anyway,
Goodbye,
sorry,
wrists.
Let's get back to the game.
Yes, let's get back.
So,
real quick,
yes.
I did actually look.
So another thing with the
So one thing we'll say, 50 Action Express, it won't exactly do very good with body armor. It'll go through Kevlar. It'll go through tier 1, which is good.
Yeah.
It won't exactly stop armor plates. Well, armor plates will stop it. It won't go through it, sadly.
It'll stop on armor plates, but honestly, if you're firing a bullet that big, that fast, you're not really looking for penetration. You're looking for the impact force that happens when it hits something.
And it very well impacts pretty hard.
It's not just the impact force. Well, you have so with the 50 AE not going past level 2. It's a really big round, and it's going
Mach Jesus.
not as fast. Yeah. Well, it is. It is going at the speed of Mach fuck, but it's not going fast enough for that 50 cal round to actually penetrate. It's like taking like 5.7. 5.7 is an extremely small round, but it also goes really fucking fast. It's able to penetrate. Whereas 50 AE, it doesn't go as fast, but it's definitely a big ass round. Like, you're gonna get a couple broken ribs from it.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna fucking feel that.
Same thing with 44 Magnum. Will not. Yeah, you're gonna feel in the morning. You're not gonna be dead, but you'll definitely feel it in the morning.
You'll wish you were.
So it's a matter of speed and size.
Yeah,
It will not go
speed
fast
versus
enough to
mass.
actually penetrate.
Yeah, it won't go through actual armor plates, but at the very least, it will definitely punch them hard enough to send them onto the ground.
Especially if it is a lead, like a full metal jacket, like it's a lead round with a metal jacket on it. It's not. It'll squash.
Yeah,
It'll squash against the armor.
It will slam.
Yes.
It's gonna fucking hurt.
Losing all energy. Like, it'll definitely crack the armor, and you're fucked. Like, 4 plates, it is because you have to look at level 4 plates. Like me, I use level 4 plates. Level 4 plates are designed to be able to stop one round of 30-06, like armor piercing 30-06.
Yeah, that's for anyone that doesn't know. That's a 30-06 green
round.
tip. 1 round, and that bitch will be stopped. Anything more, and you're fucking dead.
Now, of course, that's what it's designed for. Me, I have not been shot, thank God, by a 30-06 green tip. So I cannot personally attest to it, but the research that I've done on level good for up to 30-06 with a green tip. So, yeah, 50 AU will definitely crack it, and it'll definitely weaken it, but it's not going to get through there the first round.
Yeah,
The next 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's gonna take quite a bit to try and get through.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
putting that through into the game, it will go through level 1. It'll go through tier 1, but it will stop at tier 2. But it will slam hard enough to actually cause, enough damage to have it be on the ground so you can just fucking execution style someone. I would say that by itself there definitely would reach B tier, maybe A.
High B.
High B, for sure.
Yeah.
Lux, anything?
Because again, that's 50 Action Express.
Me,
Sure, it's enough to put someone on the fucking put someone in the dirt, but recoil is an issue with that as well.
me
Because
personally,
I'm sorry, that shit's gonna fucking try and leap up and kiss you in the mouth.
yeah, me personally, I would definitely own one as a fun gun, but never as a self-defense gun.
Yeah,
Never
so-
like.
Unless you plan on beating someone with it.
Exactly.
It's definitely a fun gun, but it's definitely not a. Also, not to mention, we did overlook this. We didn't talk about this. Desert Eagles chambered in 50 AE do tend to jam from time to time,
Yeah.
more than usual.
Yeah, because they're being thrown back with the might of Zeus.
Yeah.
So I would say, if anything, this would definitely be.
And again, like I mentioned with the recoil bit, they're trying to jump up
So-
and kiss you in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like the number of videos I've seen people shooting Desert Eagles for the first time and catching it square in the mouth.
Gotta be careful this way.
It's like,
Anyways.
ooh, that's lights out.
Well, then, that's definitely gonna hurt in the morning. Anyway, so we're putting it high B tier. Now we move on to something pretty shitty, to be honest. We have the Explorer 22. So,
Oh,
I will
I
say...
already don't like the name of it.
So, it's 25+1 mag fed. Its reload rating is kind of ass because you have to actually rack the slide on it, or I guess rack the bolt on it. So it's 3 out of 5. It takes quite a while to pull off. I think I tried doing a mag drop, but it wouldn't work too well. So I pulled the mag out by itself, but I could be wrong. But anyways, this is
Let's see it.
so far. It's definitely sounded pretty good. 25+1 capacity. Psych picture is good.
Okay.
Reload rating isn't really great, but it's not terrible per se.
Hearing it having a fuck that
It definitely sounds pretty
switch
good,
my brain
right?
says it's either got a big magazine.
Is it that monster? Yeah, it's the monstrosity with the banana mag, right?
Well, it's 22.
Yep.
Uh,
It's 22.
Called it.
okay.
Yeah. So this is the Explorer 22.
22. It's a 22.
It's a 22.
Like,
This thing
what are
is
you gonna
not. This thing is not going to.
Yeah, what are you
I
gonna
mean, 22s come in all shapes and sizes.
I mean,
For what it is,
it's a plinker.
Yeah.
it's a plinking gun. It's not a self-defense gun. I mean,
you could use it for self-defense because
Yes.
It could.
I
that's
mean-
25. That's like 25 plus 1 rounds. I mean, that's still 25 rounds whizzing past someone that they don't want to get hit by it.
Yeah, but it's also semi-auto, and we're also dealing with soft points, not high velocities, which don't really do too much per se. In terms of the
still,
testing,
I don't want to get shot.
Yeah. In terms of testing, surprisingly, it does. Apparently, it actually does take quite a while to actually make someone explode. But me personally, I have actually tested it. It does actually kill, which is thankfully the case. But in terms of higher tier armored
Any
enemies,
gun can kill, Connor.
well, yes, but I had to test it out anyways because
Except
it's a
the Nerf
tiny
gun.
fucking
Except for
round.
the-
Except for the Nerf gun.
gun.
But hear me out. At the very least, 32 ACP actually will kill and will
Still
even
not
kill.
over
It will at least kill up to a tier 2 enemy. The 22 will not. So it has actually killed tier 1 enemies.
Brother in Christ. 32 APC is a bar so low, Satan stumbling over.
Yeah, honestly, I would put it in the.
I would say because of its
F tier. Because sure, it holds a lot of ammo.
I'd be willing to actually fight this one a small bit.
Reason being is yes, I would put it in F tier because it's chambered in 22, and you said it was
25 plus
25.
25 plus 1.
25 plus 1. It's 26 rounds. It's a 22. If you're shooting at anything with body armor, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's in most cases people
at
usually
that point,
I think a phone could stop 22.
At that point, as soon as you run out of ammo, you might as well pull the magazine out, grab it by the barrel, and start beating people with it. That's.
I will say, like,
I would say put it in F tier.
Like, and it's not F tier because it's a bad gun. It's F tier because it's so fucking small.
I mean, admittedly,
if it were chambered in 9mm, I could maybe put it in D tier, because then it would at least be more useful than it is now.
With a 25 +1 magazine, I'd actually put that into B tier if it's 9mm. If it were 9mm, but
True.
it's 22.
I will say I was actually willing to put like 22 LR into a place below F tier, but after actually testing it out and seeing that it is actually capable of actually killing, it's just up to tier 1 enemies. So any sort of Kevlar wearing enemies will actually die in one hit by a headshot, which is good. Tier 2, on the other hand, will not. It'll take a couple of shots before they're actually fully dead. Does kind of cause a bit of an issue, but I will actually fight with this one a little bit because you're sending a fuck ton of rounds as quickly as possible. Maybe not so much F tier, but bottom of the rung
Connor,
D-tier.
those fuck ton of rounds.
It's definitely good for them.
We need another new
one.
F+. F+.
No.
We need to start putting like tiers in between. It just like because we can't. I don't feel right putting it up into D tier because it's too fucking small. But it doesn't feel quite right in F tier because that's a fuckload of rounds.
Yes, that's why I'm saying.
If you think about though, F+ is still an F.
Yeah, it's still an F.
That is true, but like I said, I'm willing to put it bottom of the rung D tier. It's got a fuck ton of rounds, and you can send a whole lot. There are other sort of. I mean, fuck. There's the P22, which only has 10
It's good
rounds.
For keeping heads down.
Yes, and that is especially
it's good
what
for keeping heads down.
Here's another thing too, is that I could possibly see it going to D tier because seeing as the fact that it's chambered in 22, there's no stock on that thing. There's virtually no recoil.
Yeah, virtually. Like
virtually no recoil.
You could
not
fucking fire. You could pull the kid and fire that thing with your pinky and have fun.
I will say,
seeing as how the weight and everything is all at the front of that gun, it would definitely be a great, like, if you're looking for accuracy.
Yeah, it's very accurate. With
a pistol. Yeah. Like, so I would say D tier.
Okay.
I will also say that
I will concede.
All right, thank you.
Bottom of the D tier.
Yeah, bottom of the rung D tier for sure. And I will also say that anything that has a barrel, anything that has a barrel can have a, like, you can have like a break, you can have suppression, any of that sort of stuff. Anything that doesn't have a stock, you can put a stock on. So that's an important little thing to know. Quick little thing. Anyways, next up is.
less of a stock.
Not legally.
Not legally, but in game.
Shush.
Hey, listen. What the government doesn't know about won't hurt it, right?
Exactly. Anyways, in
moving
game
on before we.
Mind you,
oh, hi, officer.
mind you, real quick, this is important to say. This is all mostly
Hotdogs, Horseshoes.
This is for H3VR. This is a fucking game. You can do whatever the fuck you want. So hopefully you don't break something, but you can do whatever the fuck you want. Anyway,
ATF, fuck off. I have a dog.
ATF, fuck off. ATF, fuck off.
For it, I swear.
Dogs, but I also have a game. I don't even a fucking gun owner. I need to get a gun at some point. Anyways, not getting into that. We have right here the F12. So nothing exactly remarkable.
It's not really that bad looking.
Yes, it's pretty some sort of gun. 9x18 Makarov, 12+1. Yeah, 9x18 Makarov, 12+1. Real rating sight picture is as good as you can get for an actual, proper.
It's cookie cutter C tier.
Yeah,
it's cookie cutter C tier.
Yeah. Anyways, this is actually.
It's cookie cutter. It's fucking cookie cutter.
And looking through, it is a modern Ukrainian pistol that was adopted as one of the National Police of Ukraine's sidearms, along with Makarov. So this is actually Ukrainian, which is actually interesting.
Okay, but still, like, if based on looks, it's cookie cutter. Like, we've seen guns like that since the fucking 80s.
Yeah,
90s.
And sure enough, was designed late 1990s, and nothing really special about it. It's 9x18.
And here we are in 2022, almost 2023, and guns still look like that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tired of seeing these fucking, mil-spec fucking cookie cutters. Okay, give me something new to look at.
Yeah, it's honestly there's
Small
nothing
tangent,
really.
sorry.
Yeah, there's
Moving
nothing
on.
exactly too special about it. It's pretty much the same as 9mm in most cases. Takes a couple extra shots.
If you've seen this,
Doesn't
you've seen
have-
them all.
Yeah, it's. I mean, fuck, man. Can you really say it's anything different? It's fucking C tier. There's nothing special about it. It's
Yeah,
nothing
it's-
crazy.
it is.
It's in 9x18, but
It's C tier.
yeah, it's nothing.
It's a C tier.
All
It's
right.
C tier. You know.
It is cookie cutter as fuck. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving right along, we have next up the fucking Sendo boy that the Russian Badger actually owns that has a buff against poor people. The 5.7.
The FN57.
The FN57.
The FN57 chambered in 5.7 by 28.
Indeed. It
Fucking, it's the round that it uses is made. Well, it's not made to pierce body armor, but it's definitely a body armor.
It's spicy.
It's a spicy boy.
It's a spicy round, as small as it is.
Yeah.
Small as it is,
It's
it's
small,
like
but
that.
spicy.
It's like that really small. It's like that really small girlfriend. You know, short and spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So nothing really special about it. It
20
has,
round magazine.
can also go up to 30. It does have stendo, which is necessary.
Yep. 10
Oh, again,
rounds if you live in a communist state. Yep.
So I don't think there's really much I need to go to in terms of like any of the history stuff or anything. Most
Don't
people
need to
usually
go
know.
over- You don't need to go over it.
Yeah, it's.
Really don't.
I mean, fuck. Oh, fuck. There's a thing of controversies. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
But-
moving on from controversies.
But-
This is not a political fucking thing. This is
Yeah.
us talking about how effective a gun would be in taking hold. Except for the fucking Digalov, which that thing deserves to rot in hell. Moving on.
Uh,
So
Can we
I
call
focus
it? Can we call it a deaglet?
a deaglet? Fuck.
Yes, a deaglet.
You can fucking suck my dick with that sort of fucking idea. Absolutely the fuck not. That
okay,
honestly.
so the FN57.
So
I'm calling
FN57.
it low B tier. I don't want to put it any higher because again it's a smaller round, but
Yeah,
it's also kind of it's that size that gives an advantage against body armor,
yeah.
and it holds a
fucking-
decent amount of ammunition. So you know I will give it that.
Yeah.
So and again with that smaller round and I'm assuming relatively light frame, recoil might be an issue. Never fired one personally, so I wouldn't know. So that's why I'm saying giving it a low B tier rating.
So the 5.7, as small of a round as it is, it doesn't have as much recoil as you would think.
Well, I'm saying it wouldn't have a lot of recoil, but I'm thinking like the body's probably gonna be really light.
Yeah.
It is a polymer body. It's a lot of guns are made out of polymer now.
I'll be honest, I don't like polymer body guns.
There
Yeah,
is
guns.
there is a problem with unless they're made properly, which the FN57 is. And I know it's gonna make you mad, but so is the Glock.
I don't like the Glock. I'm sorry, the Glock. In my opinion, the
I
Glock,
know you don't.
It's overhyped.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I know it is overhyped. I'm sorry. Back on track.
Yeah. So
The FN57,
Yeah.
I like it. I would personally put it in A tier.
I would honestly be willing to put it maybe high B tier because it does actually have a little. I mean, first off, yes, it does have a buff against poor people, but it also does actually work well against usual Kevlar, which is good.
Okay,
And also,
despite the buff against people, that's
yeah,
I mean,
not only that, but I would actually put it a little bit higher, almost into A tier, because of its different types of ammo. Though we are working with FMJ, this is mostly just for functionality in most cases, but we should also talk about different types of ammo. 5.7 does
okay. Well,
actually.
let's not. We can say yeah, it's got different ammo types. We don't need to go into too much detail about that because again, this is just we're looking at these guns with full metal jacket, and again, I will concede and give it a low A tier. For A, the sake of brevity, and B, I can see why it would have an A tier rating. I personally don't, and for me, it's a personal thing of polymer bodies. I don't like polymer bodies.
Yeah.
They don't feel right.
Yeah, I will say though, it does have a 20 and
And
even
again-
30 round capacity, so that does kind of bring it up to A tier. Though I will say, I think out of all other pistol types, 9mm and 45 ACP do have an API plus P, but that's honestly kind of rare to get sometimes. Very spicy round.
Yeah.
Hard to get though, honestly, in some cases. Sometimes you can. Most of the time, a lot of the time you usually won't. So it's very difficult to get it sometimes.
There is one pistol that I can forgive for having a polymer body, but that's because A, it's cheap as fuck, and B, I personally
swear to God, if you say high point, I will come
Not even
out.
high point, man. It doesn't even. Fuck. Fuck. Doesn't even have.
I
Doesn't even have
own a
polymer.
high
Swear to
point.
God.
Yeah,
And
see,
yes, it does. It does have a polymer case around the pistol. Beyond that, it's almost solid metal construction. Okay, and I'm sorry, they are reliable. They are durable. Sure, she occasionally chokes if I try to put too expensive ammunition through her. But besides that, she fucking runs. I could probably smoke anyone by feeding her steel casing. And again, I can literally throw that thing out in the snow, run it over with a truck a couple times, maybe toss it in my forge for like half an hour, pull it back out, rack, and keep shooting.
I'm pretty sure if the 5.7 has a buff against poor people, I think the high point has a buff against rich people.
The high point has just an extra durability rating.
The gun that has the most buffs though is the Tech 9 because it has a buff against rich people and police.
Yeah,
Yes.
That is fair.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yes.
So, okay,
Anyways,
back on track.
We'll get to that when we get to it.
Driven, low
The
A.
fi- yeah, I would say low A tier, and especially also because of the different ammunition types, because you can get those sometimes. And it does have access to both armor piercing and incendiary, and API naturally. So it does have quite the range. So it is
5.7 5.7 is such a hard round to find, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that would
really
be an issue
is.
in real life, but again, we're talking here in the game.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, at that low A tier. If it was real life, I'm sorry, I'd be pushing down to C, maybe high D, because again, the ammo is a bitch to find.
Yes, but we're dealing with in-game stuff.
If I had one in real life, I would maybe push it to S tier. But that's
Sorry,
just me.
so what's next?
So next up is
So what's next on the list?
Sorry.
a bit of a different
Sorry, is that
one.
next one?
Yeah.
Break
So
action pistol? Next one?
no, surprisingly, this is still semi-auto, so no need to worry. So this is the Frontier
Hang on a
Model
second.
B, and I'll pull up a picture for you boys. So this is also another weird one. Thankfully not cursed, but this is the Frontier Model B, and it is chambered in 36 Moses, which is also a sci-fi round. So, bit of a different sort of gun here, and it
It looks like a neutered revolver.
it kind of does.
Yeah, it looks like a
It looks like a neutered revolver.
like you got a J frame from a fucking Colt Navy.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in the rest of that though. Maybe the barrel maybe off of the fucking one we saw earlier, like the fucking one we judged earlier, the fucking one that was from Hunt Showdown.
So, tell us a little bit about this gun.
So, real quick, this is in 36 Moses and is a caseless cartridge. It has 6+1 capacity, and the side picture is actually pretty okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Reload rating is pretty easy. I was able to get it done pretty good, but it does not have slide release. So it does have mag
How
drop.
do you reload it? Because I'm not seeing it.
So real quick, this right here is your charging slide, I suppose, charging handle, I suppose. So that's how you cock it, and you have to do that almost all the time. This little thing right here is your magazine.
Where's the slide go?
It's somewhere up in. I mean, charging handle's right here, so slide somewhere in here, I suppose. So yeah, like I said, it is caseless. So
I don't think.
yeah. And actually, here we go. Yeah. So oddly enough, this is actually a recreation of Mal's gun from Firefly, which was a Taurus 80. So it's Taurus Model 85 actually, and that's what.
So it is a fucking. It's a fucking.
Oh my
It's a goddamn
God.
J-frame.
It's a fucking J-frame. Jesus Christ. So I need to. I need to. That's possible, but I need to look and see.
So it's 6+1 caseless, semi-automatic. I don't know. Like I'm not seeing much that really sets it out, except for its weird caliber.
Yeah.
well,
So
how does it do in damage?
So the 36 Moses.
Yeah. What can it put down?
So 36 Moses is surprisingly powerful, but no armor penetration. So it actually does do an extremely hard amount of damage and will actually just slam through. It'll slam into body armor, but not through it. So it is capable, but not, well, it's damaging, but it's not penetrating. So,
That's annoying.
I'm actually kind of lost in this one.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it can kick, but oh no, it feels like low C, high D.
I suppose,
I would say middle of the board, low C.
So are we putting it above or below the Bergman? Is the question.
Above the Bergman.
Okay.
Above the Bergman.
So above the Bergman. So that's where the Moses shall be. Frontier shall be there.
Bergman, like the Bergman.
The Bergman.
I'm sorry, that bitch would jam constantly.
Good
anyway.
God. Yeah. So moving on, we have the G17. We're dealing with this guy here. If I can pull him over.
Okay.
So we're dealing with the G17. And this is obviously Glock. This is also going through with the Glock 17, 19, 22, and 41. So essentially 9.
So I've already said my piece about Glock.
Yeah. So I will real quick just to go through things. The Glock 17 obviously will take pretty much everything in terms of anything Glock most of the time. 17, 19 are pretty similar. These Glock 17 naturally should have a 17-round mag, though of course the Glock 19 should also have a 15, but we also have a 20, 33, and 50 plus 1. Naturally also the Glock 22 is in 40 Smith & Wesson in 15 and 32, and the Glock 41 I believe, because it is in a 13, 25, and 40, is in 45 ACP. Not much difference per se, as far as I know. I need to look into the 40 Smith & Wesson, but I don't think there's anything too different about it. Let's see. No, pretty much the same. Nothing exactly special. It honestly just simply exists. So this is dealing with all Glocks except for one special kind. So it's a box. Is there more to be said?
It is a box. I personally, having owned one, I would say it's a very reliable pistol. I have never had a jam with a Glock. Now that being said, I don't carry a Glock anymore. But I would definitely, in my personal opinion, I would put it in the B tier, for the simple fact that because everybody and their mother has seen a Glock, they know what a Glock is, they make so many parts for it. It's very easy to maintain and very easy to get parts for, and not to mention ammo capacity, magazines. It's in my personal opinion, I think it's a very nice pistol.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of just the wide range of capacity, it definitely would reach itself into B tier well enough. Because I mean, the Browning High Power is up here because it is a 14 plus 1 or 13 plus 1. I don't know. So willing enough to say that it is actually good. But we also do have the CZ75 Shadow, which is also 17 plus 1, but it's still C tier. It does have a much wider range of sizes. So probably would actually agree with you there in saying that even if it is just a box, it is still B tier just because of the wide range of Glock mags. So
yeah, like I mean, because you got 17 plus 1. I've straight up carried a 33 plus 1.
Jesus Christ.
Which is, a little too big to just like keep around. But yeah, and they're very easy to come by.
I will say another thing about Glocks: customizability.
Yes, they are very, very customizable.
I would say that Glocks are the AR of the pistol world.
Indeed. And speaking of the ARs of the pistol world, we do have specifically the G17 Custom. So obviously we have a different sort of slide. We have an actual functioning red dot and even a 20-round mag, usually. Is actually the specialized G17 Custom magazine. But of course, it can take all different ranges of 9mm Glock mags. Even still, this is essentially the same thing, just with a laser sight, with a reflex sight on it. So it does actually have a legitimate sight. So it is a little above in sight pictures. It has a 6 out of 5 because of that specifically. So I think it's safe to say
that's mainly more of a competition shooting pistol.
Yeah, for sure. But going into more tactical situations, it does...
Because you typically don't carry around a...
Would you say that this possibly might go higher than... Well, obviously it will probably go higher than
I would say
any of the other Glocks, but where is the question?
I would say B tier, above the Glock, below the high power.
So essentially the same place, just slightly
Because
above.
at the end of the day... Yes, at the end of the day, it is still a Glock. There's really nothing that much that has changed about it, other than the fact that it has the thing on the bottom. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically just to make loading magazines easier. And then also it has a red dot sight on it.
Yeah. So nothing too terribly different, it seems. Nothing exactly wrong with that. So next up, we have the GSH-18. So the GSH-18, while this loads up, is another 9x19, 18 plus 1. Sight picture is good. It's 4 out of 5. Reload is about the same. Everything pretty well similar. This is a Russian striker fire semi-auto.
It doesn't really look too bad. Curious what that hole though in the trigger guard. I don't know what that hole is for.
Who knows? But I will look up the history for this one, because this is actually kind of one that is a little bit strange, per se. Tom, you still with us right now?
Okay. I will also look it up, because I know nothing about
okay.
it.
Just want to make sure you're still...
I'm just currently, I'm multitasking, but I'm still here to be part of the conversation.
Okay, I got you, no worries. So this one's a little bit of a sleeper in terms of anything else. So it's a 9mm basic semi-auto. Was made by, let's see, it was made in 1990s, actually fully produced in 01. And sure enough, actually came from a couple of guys. There's not really anything special about this that can really be found. It's an 18 plus 1, which does give it a pretty high capacity, which is good to see. But even still, there's nothing special about it per se. This is kind of a bit of a sleeper, I suppose.
So, looking at the Wikipedia, because I have never seen this gun before, I know nothing about it. Apparently, it's very suitable for high-velocity ammunition loads, may be employed using standard 9x19mm parabellum rounds, but apparently it was designed for high-velocity Russian armor-piercing 9x19 7N31 rounds, whatever those are.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that real quick as well. So from the looks of it, the 7N31 was essentially a smaller cartridge, but was overpressured to make it a little bit hotter. From the looks of it, that's what I'm guessing is what the 7N31 is simply just a...
So, it looks like the 7N31 round was designed to be an armor-piercing round. It penetrates 8mm of steel, up to 15 to 20 meters. Okay. Which is about 0.3 inches?
Yeah, so it's essentially just a slightly hotter 9mm. It's a smaller, hotter 9mm.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. So I don't think the GSH really has anything special about it. I think it's just C tier.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. From what I'm hearing, I would agree.
So any other sort of unremarkable cookie cutters, are we putting it above the Frontier Model B or above the Bergman?
Above the Frontier Model B.
Okay. So now we have a very easy candidate for
Is that the
F tier.
Liberator?
No, it is not the Liberator. Actually, before we get to that, we do actually have another 9mm that is actually very, very different. We have the HH9mm, which I do actually have. So this is the HH9. It's pretty big, sort of modern. Has some recoil management. So this is the HH9. Very weird looking one. It is definitely box standard, but they put a little extra on it, and it does have a rail. It's a 15+1 capacity. Sight picture is good. Real rating is actually okay, and that's pretty much as much as I can really say about it without going into deeper detail. And sure enough, it is called the Hudson H9. That is its full name. Sure enough, it was actually unveiled at SHOT Show in 2017. Huh.
It's not a very good looking pistol.
Yeah, it's a little,
in my opinion.
A little bulky, I'd say.
It looks like they tried to give it, like it looks like they tried to give it a futuristic feel, but it feels like 1980s, 1990s futuristic.
So retro future.
Yeah, retro future. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing
if it's done well.
Yeah.
Yes, if it's done well.
I mean, and also looking at this, not exactly to sway in any way, but Hudson at some point a few years ago in 2018 apparently ended up went down the shitter, went bankrupt. So
fuck.
Lovely.
Yeah, and actually looking at this right now, the Hudson H9 group in Facebook carried many discussions regarding broken H9s and the return to repair work. And sure enough, into January, there's reports that it was, they were sent back, but were not repaired or returned. So that's not good. So I don't think the Hudson H9 actually worked well, which probably...
that's what it sounds like right now.
From the looks of it, just looking through that and all, it definitely didn't seem like it really worked all that great in some cases. So that's a bit of a shame. After that, it's really not anything different. I'd say, if anything, it's mostly just cookie cutter. It's just...
middle of the board.
Yeah, middle of the board.
I guess I would say C tier above the... Yeah.
I'd say, if anything, it's nothing really remarkable about it. But we must go into new things. And thankfully, we are actually looking into different types now, beyond just basic 9mm that are, as basic, boxy, simple cookie cutters you can be. We're going into the Jetfire 950. It's an 8+1, sight picture is okay, reload is not. So there is mag drop, but no slide release. And reload is difficult. We're dealing with one of the smallest pistols in the game, possibly the smallest. The Jetfire 950 is our 25 ACP, and there is two variants. Neither of them are really good. There is the Mother of Pearl version, which I will actually show, but first off, this is the regular. So this is the Jetfire 950, which doesn't exactly... It's not exactly brought justice in that it's small. It's very small. I mean, you want to talk pocket pistol, this is pocket pistol. It is a little tiny 25 ACP with an 8+1 capacity. Very, very small. And the reload definitely
I've actually seen one of these. I've actually seen one of these at a pawn shop once. I think it was like a $200 pistol or something.
God. Could not imagine.
Ironic.
Yep, Beretta.
Beretta.
Oh, how ironic that is.
So yeah.
I would say, since it's not really a viable option, you might as well throw it at somebody. I would say F tier.
Yeah, that's definitely going F tier for sure.
Not cursed, but definitely not,
It's not
Deaglet
sure.
cursed, but it's definitely not. Yeah.
It's not Deagloff cursed, but it's I mean, fuck. The Comp Pistol's an F tier because of its looks. The Jetfire is an F tier because of its functionality. It's not good.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think I actually covered this before. The reason as to F tier as to why that's there and what exactly covers it is it works, but at what cost? And that's kind of what I wanted F tier to be, is just, it works, yes, but at what cost? So that's what I've had F tier set as. D tier is like, yeah, it works, but it's not going to be a fun time, or it's going to be one of those things where you're literally challenged to do it. F tier is just, it works, but at what cost? That's just what I've been stuck with for a while.
Yeah.
So, next up is, and I'm actually using the long barrel version of this, not that it really helps out too much. We are talking about the great German P08 Luger.
Yeah. The classic right there.
Oh yes, and this is also the artillery version, but you know what? It just looks better, and fuck you, that's why. So this is
as opposed to the little short version.
Thankfully, not that short a version. I wanted to have something that didn't really change too much and just works pretty goddamn well. The actual artillery version. I don't think it changes it up too much per se, but even still, Luger is the Luger, and
it
does the job.
It does the job.
It does the job. It gets the job done. It's not necessarily a pretty gun.
It doesn't exactly look good, but it is iconic at the very least. It's the usual classic German infantry soldier pistol in any World War II movie.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Is there anything remarkable enough to put it anywhere above probably C tier?
No.
No, I would say it's definitely above the HH.
I can see that, honestly. It also, real quick to go through, it also has a 32 round drum, but it's usually 8+1. So.
Yeah.
But we will put it above the HH. Since there we go. Alright, moving on, we have the M9.
The M9.
The M9A1 specifically, but we are dealing with all different variants. There's the M9, the M9A1, the M92FS, and the M9A3. So we're looking specifically at the M9A1, but even still, we do in fact have the M9.
They don't have my pistol in the game.
Which one is that?
Dang, they don't have the M96. M96.
Shame.
Chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson.
Goddamn. Sadly, they do not have it.
All right.
But we do have the M9, which is pretty nice.
So how good is the gun in game? Is it good? Is it bad?
Well, the M9, specifically the M9A1 that I'm covering now, there's not exactly anything special about it per se. It works definitely. It's a nice little 15+1. It also has a 15, 17, 20, and 30 round mags, naturally. The A1 and A3 both have a bottom rail. Sight pressure was good. Reload rating was definitely nice. There wasn't exactly anything super special about it, but I do have a small bit of history with it. It honestly looks as good as you can get for what exactly it is, because it's an M9. Nothing really special or different or anything about it. It's an M9. You know, it works. A lot of people know about it.
It's not a bad looking pistol. It's not a bad working pistol either. It works well, assuming that you actually have
take care of it.
You know, you take care of it. Yeah.
Take care of it.
I know a lot of soldiers who, I know a lot of soldiers because we recently converted over to the M17, which is made by 6 Hour, and I've heard both sides. It's pretty mixed. People saying that they want to go back to the M9. People saying they're glad they got rid of it. And the reason for them saying we're glad we got rid of it is because the gun. They always say the same thing. The gun jams. The gun jams. The gun jams. It's not... Okay. Brand new M9s are perfectly fine. They're perfect. They function correctly. I think when I had an M9, out of maybe the 1,000 to 2,000 rounds that I put through it, I maybe had 5 stovepipes. Which, stovepiping, for any of the people watching... It's basically where the shell, when it gets ejected, it doesn't eject all the way and it sticks out the top of the gun. So you actually have to pull it back on the slide and then pull that shell off. And then you're ready to go. For those of you who don't know.
God damn it, Lux, you're literally gonna make me fucking pull receiver 2 just to fucking get recordings of that, fuck's sake. It's a slight bit annoying, but it's not terribly bad, per se. At least, at least in game, but it's not absolutely terrible, and you just rack slide and you're set to go.
Yeah. If you ever, like, get a chance to hold one in real life and you just, like, pull the slide back and let it go, I don't know why. It's just the sound of it is iconic. I don't know why. But that's me getting into personal bias.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about this pistol, I will say, is that it's Italian.
Yeah.
And I will leave it at that.
The only bad thing about it is it is Italian, but it is good. But that's it. Nothing against the Italians at all.
So
you made a good pistol.
I would personally say B tier. The only thing stopping me from putting it in A tier is that it's Italian. So
I'd say if anything, the M9 is a slight bit pretty well iconic. I'm willing to say it is. Especially the M9A1, because I've had some history with Resident Evil 5, and that was just the gun they always had all the time. I could easily recognize it. It's a little iconic to me. I would say, at the very least, it would probably go above the Glock 17, just because of, just how iconic it is, but functionality doesn't exactly change too much. I'm willing to at least die in the hill of putting it high C tier just because of how iconic it is. But that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
What are we thinking?
That's fair,
boys. Like, are we like high C tier or above Glock B tier?
I can agree with high C tier. I can agree with that.
All right. So
because there are many pistols that are better than it, and there's definitely many pistols that are worse than it. It's very middle of the board. Me, personal bias, I like it.
Personal
but
bias
I'm willing to agree
like
to say that it is C tier.
Yeah. I'm willing to agree with that. So, before we get to the Lord's Calibers, we also have the M1907.
Lord's Caliber.
We'll deal with that later. First up is the 1907 Roth, which I need to once again find. There it is. So, pull this up here for you boys real quick. This is the M1907 Roth. It's a weird little gun for sure.
Okay.
So it's an internal magazine.
It looks like it looks like something you would put an injector on to shoot your teammates to revive them.
That's fair. So they don't have any footage of the 8mm Roth, but I did a little bit of testing. I think it is. I think it is a little bit to a. It's able to go through tier 1 armor, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. I'll have the footage here to either prove me right or wrong. But 8mm Roth, it has a 10 round internal mag, fed obviously by stripper clips. Sight picture is good. Reload rating is really nice. But yeah, there's not too terribly much about it per se. I suppose I should get into my experience with it. It did have a little bit of an issue with reload speed. It took me a good 3 seconds to reload it, but that's only because it is in a stripper clip. It does actually have a little bit of style points because of the stripper clip. The loader for it has a little thing that actually pushes. You can actually use your thumb and actually you can actually push down the rounds into the mag, which does actually earn a little bit of style points for that. But I don't think there's anything terribly different about it. I'd say, I don't know, where exactly would we put this, boys? It's hard to say what this would be.
Well, if it's not, from what you're saying, it's not a bad gun. Me personally, I think it looks weird.
I do too.
But that's just me. I'm also not a big fan of stripper clips, especially like on pistols. Like if it's on a rifle, it's fine, but if it's on a pistol, I ain't really for it.
Yeah. I will say, like, this thing does honestly look kind of weird. It's very similar to the Cobb, but this right here is your, essentially your slide is what you use to pull back on, and you can load in rounds that way. So that's for there.
Yeah.
So there is that, and I'm honestly kind of I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'd say at the very least, it'd probably at least be C tier.
I would say C tier, right below the HH.
Below HH. All right, it's probably fair. So put it about there, I suppose. It does take a while to reload it, so that does make some sense. Okay, so we are now looking into probably what a lot of people are wanting to, were wanting me to look into, but also will likely get a lot of butthurt from it. We are looking at the M1911, which there are so many.
There we go.
Wars. So,
standing in the freedom corner, standing at a height of 8.5 inches, with a weight of 2.5 pounds, previous 2-time world champion, the M1911. Gotcha.
You can tell we're all
S tier.
Yeah. So
there is no question about it. S tier. No, none of these other pistols have won a world war twice.
Twice, in
Okay,
fact, mind
S
you.
tier.
So real
Twice
quick,
in a row.
in a row.
S tier.
So, real quick to go over everything. Obviously, everyone knows it is in Lord's caliber, 45 ACP. It does have a 7, 11, and 18 capacity magazines, which is pretty freaking nice. Sight picture was fantastic. Reload rating was absolutely great. It took me a good 1 second to fucking reload that bitch, and there's also so many different fucking variants out there, I can't even go into all of them. Holy Jesus, there are so many variants. So,
and so many companies that make them. Holy shit.
Lord knows. So we have the original 1911, which, yes, does actually have those motherfucking diamonds on there. Don't worry about it. We also have the much better version, let's be honest, the A1. There's also a gold-plated version. There's also the modern version of the A1. And there's even a specialized stamp variant. Though it doesn't exactly have slide release, it isn't exactly different enough to be, pretty much anywhere else. It isn't exactly going to be judged differently compared to everything else. So, nothing exactly terribly different, per se, compared to the originals. So, the stamp variant is going to be lumped in. There is also a couple of other different variations that I will, at some point later, get into, but not right now. There's also, one such especially, I should say, is the Dillinger. I will get into it. Also, that's where the actual 18-round mag comes in. But I would say, just because of how fucking iconic it is, I'm willing to say A tier. And for Dom, I'm willing to put it above the 5.7.
I would say that. Yeah, the lowest that it would go is A tier.
like high A tier.
Strict, like the only thing I would say holding it back is the fact that it's single stack. They do make double stack 1911s now.
Modern ones, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, modern ones.
Same thing else we said with the Makarov. But even still,
Yes.
it's not... I don't think it's anything...
Because you have to think it's 7 plus 1.
Yeah, it's 7 plus 1, naturally. So I would say, if anything, okay, so I think the question is, we're probably going to put it above 5.7 for Dom at least. Though, of course, I'd be willing to move it above the broom handle, mostly because of functionality. But
yeah,
will the 1911?
Yeah, functionality is the main thing there.
Yeah. So, would the 1911 go above the broom handle?
Yes.
Yes, I know for a fact we're gonna have a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, my broom handle, but it's so iconic.
Shut the fuck up.
They're gonna be shitting. They're gonna be shitting their pants.
If you want it higher on the list, make your fucking. This is ours.
Yeah. You can absolutely come onto Tiermaker and you can actually make your own list by all means. One thing I'll say probably at the end of this as well is if anyone at all disagrees, you can make your own. I'm not against that at all. You can make your own. And
we're happy to see the video too.
Seriously, go ahead. By all means, go ahead and show us exactly what that is. Send me a screenshot. You can do a whole video talking about it with a whole bunch of other people. Go right ahead. We're doing this as best we can.
Honestly, me, just fight me about it.
Yeah, Lux, fight him. Go ahead. That's not going to work out for you.
Lux.
Exactly.
Fight
me about
the
it.
military, man.
Go ahead.
I will fuck you up.
All right, so moving on from that. Next up is another 1911, which actually will obviously go above it. This is the 1911 A1 Tactical and Operator variants. This one has a more common 11-round magazine, along with a bit more moddability. It, just like the G17 Custom, it has a lower rail and also has a red dot. So, well, I think if anything,
I would say we treated it this. I'd say we treated it the same as the G17 that we did. We put it right above the original 1911.
Yeah, honestly, it does absolutely go above because slightly higher mag size. It also has reflex sight. It very easily goes above almost immediately.
It's also the exact same gun, just
it's the same gun. Yeah, it's the same gun, but it has attachment, and it is also integrated as well, mind you. So anyone that's saying, "Oh, why is he doing this sort of stuff? Why is just a little bit of anything?" Shut up. It's different. It's different enough to me. So fuck you.
Yep.
Anyway.
And again, if you want to make your own list,
By all means, do it.
you're more than welcome to do so.
Anyways, so next up is the 1912, a year after the 1911, and honestly, kind of shit. Let me explain. So, the 1912 is Austrian made, of all things. Let's see, going through the actual wiki because I'm lazy. Superficial resemblance to the 1911. It is different mechanically. So this does not actually have a detachable magazine. This is actually an internal magazine, and it's a god damn it, I wish I could speak. It is in fact 8 rounds. So there's no 7+1 stuff. It is just straight up 8 rounds with an internal magazine, and it does have slide lock, which is good. But reload rating is not great because I've slipped more times than I'm willing to say. And honestly, I've kind of lost count at some point. So this thing definitely might end up going into D tier just because of how fucky it is sometimes. Because I've honestly, it does have its own slide, which is good. And even if it does have slide lock, I've still had one of those times where, when I have it fucking totally unloaded. It needs to get a new one in and everything and all. I go and stick in a fucking new strip, and for some reason, when I let go, it thinks I'm pulling back the slide for just long enough that it pops the fucking thing. It pops the stripper clip out. And you have no idea, I'm willing to say, you have no idea how fucking mad I am about that shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'd be pissed off about that too.
It's not personal bias. I'm actually serious. I'm willing to say that it works. Yes, and it is an 8mm. It is an 8mm Steyr. Well, excuse me, 9.23. There's 9.23 Steyr, which is definitely a capable round, but functionally, I'll admit, functionally, I hate it. And it's mostly because of how fucky it can be sometimes. No penetrating power or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about it. So I did look. I promise. This thing I fucking hate it so much because of that little bitty tiny thing. So I'm willing to put it high D tier because it is more functional than these guys, and it's not a 22, and actually has working sights. The sight picture was good, but functionally speaking, I fucking hate it. So I'm willing to put it D tier. I will not do it to the disservice of F tier though, but I'm putting it D tier because just,
Yeah.
So
it seems like it seems like a big problem with the gun is that so you're saying that in the game, like when you go to put a stripper clip in, it's like I guess it's not a problem with the gun itself, it's a problem with the game.
Yeah, it's more so the game than it is the gun itself. That's the only reason. We are, of course, dealing with a tactical situation in the game. If anyone has an 1912, I will say, if anyone does have a 1912 and actually absolutely like it, I'm not dissing against you. I'm dissing against what the game did to it. That's all. So
yeah, it's not a problem with the gun. It's the problem with the game. If it worked, it would probably be higher on the list.
Yes. If it did work proper and didn't have that little bug with it, bug. If it didn't have that, it would definitely go up into probably C tier, maybe even B tier, possibly. Maybe, but it's mostly the game's problem. So next up is the 1951, which I will show it to you, but do note that it looks a little similar.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I mean,
God.
Tell me that doesn't look like what you think it looks like.
Look what they did to my boy.
That's kind of what I thought at first. So it's an 8+1 9mm. Yeah, so it's an 8+1 9mm. The sight picture and reload rating is good, but it does not have slide release. That's the only big issue with it.
It makes a motherfucker run off. I made a motherfucker run away.
Smart choice.
It looks like a Beretta, but like it's the Ricky Berwick of Berettas.
Yeah, I can honestly see that. I would say, if anything, like, I would definitely put it below the Beretta for sure. Like, the M9 definitely is not fucking having to deal with that shit. But it is also still kind of weird. Yeah. And I've also had a little thing where if the hammer gets pulled, there's no like hammer reset, so you don't have a double action trigger. So kind of an issue with that when you have simplified controls. But that's only a minor thing. It's not that big an issue, and you can just rack slide again in case that happens, because you're not just gonna somehow decock the hammer unless you're rolling with classic. And even then, you can just cock the hammer back. But
yeah,
little thing about that just little strange, you know. But I would say, where exactly would that be put? Like, that'd be above the HH.
It would definitely be, I would say, yeah, above the HH.
All right. So there we go. So moving on, we now have
that C tier is getting full.
Yeah, C tier is definitely getting real full. So next up is the Makarov 9x18, which has an 8 round capacity, but also has an 80 round drum, because fuck you.
That's
Russian. It's a Russian imposter right there.
Yeah, seriously. So thoughts, boys? Makarov.
The Makarov.
It's Russian.
It's Russian. It's not a bad gun, I would say.
So
especially with how long it's been used, it's not a bad gun. There's different variations of it. I know that there's one that they made where I believe it has an integrated suppressor. Yeah, they made one with an integrated suppressor, which, you know, it's, from what I hear, it's okay. Because the Makarov itself is based off of the Walther PPK. You know, the standard James Bond gun.
Yeah.
You know.
So probably would put this above the 51, the fake Glock, the imposter Glock, or the imposter Glock, the imposter M9. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Honestly, I would actually put it above the, what was it? It was the very first gun we got. It was the one where you can actually, like, it has the window on it.
Oh,
it's in C tier.
Yeah, the ASP right here.
Yeah.
So probably
I would actually put it above that, because the Makarov is actually proven.
Yeah, the Makarov is proven. It is actually it is a slight bit iconic, but not enough to really push it out of C tier.
No, it's not iconic enough. It's not. Is it a bad gun? No. Is it a really good gun though? No. Like,
no.
The recoil on it is
dog water.
fucking horrible. It's dog water.
It is definitely
so.
dog water.
Not to mention, there's so many copies of it. Like, it's ridiculous, because you got the Walther PPK, which is what the Makarov is based off of, and then you have the Hungarian PA-63, which is a Hungarian officer's pistol, which I used to own. Yeah, fun fact, those pistols are horrible because they are made with aluminum. And you would think that a pistol chambered in .380 wouldn't have any recoil, but it does! Holy fuck! I would rather shoot the Deagle than a PA-63. Actually, I think I'd rather shoot a Deagle compared to the Makarov, because at least when I my wrist hurts afterwards, at least I shot like a Deagle or something, you know.
All right, so well, we'll have the Makarov in C tier above the ASP due to how iconic it is, but it is still a 9x18 and is not really special per se. So next up, we have another 22, but this thing, I will say, it does look good, but that's all it's got going for it. It'll place it above everything else in terms of any other 10 plus 1 round 22s, but it's still going in D tier. Just, let's be honest here.
I mean, it's going above 10 round magazine 22, of which there are none as of current.
Yeah, but even still, it's like, this just... It's going to go above all the others, because we have the Mark III, the Mark IV, and the P22. And that's, as far as they know, all the 22 LRs. So, it's simply just going to be there. Honestly, there's not much that needs to be more said about it. It's a 22, you know. Moving on, though, we have the Max 9. So the Max 9, as far as I know, is a integrally suppressed Glock, essentially. But it doesn't look like a Glock. It's a big, boxy fuckboy that's integrally suppressed. And 9mm. So, yeah.
That is actually a very good video game pistol.
Yes, it is.
It is, very much
Me
so.
personally, I don't really like the look of it, but I will not deny its abilities in combat.
Yeah, and also, for anyone wondering, right about this seam right here is where the slide stops. So all of this is all barrel here. This is how much the slide moves back. So, little important thing to note. Sometimes you can't always clearly see it. After that, sights, reload, all were pretty well good. Obviously it has Glock, so 15 to 50. So it's got 15, 17, 20, 33, and 50 rounds each, and a 9mm. So, not really more to be said about this. The suppressor doesn't exactly change things too much, and it does look very different. Where are we putting this, boys? I'd be willing to say, at the very least, it would probably go above the F12. But I'm not putting it in B tier.
So, me personally, I would actually put it in B tier. I would actually, believe it or not, put it above the Deagle. Because you do have
any experience with this gun, so
you do have that integrally suppressed barrel, which is very useful.
Yeah, it's
not to mention that you can mount things on it.
Yeah, and of course also that is in the case for many other pistols we do have, but surprisingly not as many as one would hope. We have the 1911 Tacticals. We have let's see, we have the 5.7. We have the Deagle, most of the Glocks. We also have the CZ75. We have the M9A1, the F12, and I think that's pretty much about it. Maybe the HH9. But like that's all we have in terms of like, you know, things that can be mounted onto any pistols. So
okay.
We don't have too many, actually, so that does actually give it a small bit of an advantage. But even to go above the Deagle is insane. I mean,
at the very least, I would put it above the Glocks.
For sure, I could see above the Glocks. And also, suppressors do work as they're supposed to actually work. They'll silence at long range, but close range, you'll still hear those fuckers.
Oh, yeah.
So
I do like that it is more realistic.
Yeah. But even with that, integrally suppressed would probably go above the Glocks. So the question is, Dom, where are you thinking on putting the Max 9?
Above the Glocks, but below the Deagle.
So are we putting? So I guess the question is, where do we put it where the Browning is?
I would say below the Browning.
Below the Browning.
I could see that.
doesn't have enough time to really prove itself.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a much newer sort of gun per se. And to make sure that I go through, just in case anyone's wanting to, like, oh, you should look into, fucking seeing, how everything all goes and whatnot with the things they made.
Our tier list, if you want something else, something somewhere else, make your own.
Go ahead and look into it. Sadly, there's only the Silencer Co., which, silencers. And that's pretty much about it. There's not really much more we can say. They did actually make the Maximum 9, particularly suppressed. Oh, and it's actually the first holsterable particularly suppressed 9mm. That is rad. I will admit that. So that's kind of cool. But
it is.
After that, there's not really much more that can be said. So Max 9
because the nice thing about it is that if you take that, because it has the integral suppressor, all the other pistols, because you have to add a suppressor on, it makes them really long. So it is definitely easier. It would definitely be easier if you had the right holster to carry that integrally suppressed pistol.
Well, I think moving from there, we've definitely come to a pretty good consensus. I think we should move on to the Mark 22 Mod 0. A little something that is modeled after the Smith & Wesson Model 39. So, Mark 22 is this gun right here. You can easily see this is obviously a very much moddable sort of thing. And it is different enough, even if it is another 9mm with a 14+1 capacity. It is different enough because of the sights on it, which I did test and had a look at.
It is a very interesting sight on it.
It is a very interesting sight. I did test
They're very high.
Yes, they are very high. But I have to actually pull up my own fucking footage just to see as to why I had the reload speed at 2.6 instead of 1.4. I'll be right back. So, getting back to this, where are we thinking on putting the Mark 22? Oh yeah, I also kind of forgot to say that the ASP, the first one we looked at, was actually, I think, a customized version. It was based off of the Model 39. So this is kind of the gun that somewhat started everything out for the ASP. So, I feel like there's not really too much to be said at this point. So, what are you boys thinking? Maybe, I suppose above the ASP, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say that's reasonable.
Alright. I'm gonna put it slightly above the ASP. Nothing exactly beats too much the original, or what's close to the original. Nothing against the ASP, but even still. So, getting back to it, to the Mark III, another 22, which, well, actually, I think, if anything, we'd probably say for the Mark III and Mark IV, even if the Mark IV Whisper is also a thing that exists, doesn't matter. I think we can put them at least in D tier, below the Match 22. Because they're essentially the same fucking thing. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do that right quick. Let's go ahead and move on to the Mark 23. So, the Mark 23 is, I think, actually a small bit of history with it as well. There you boys go. That is the Mark 23 right there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's I actually don't know that much about this gun.
Same.
Is it possible it's a Heckler and Koch?
Let's have a look here. It was in fact made by Heckler and Koch.
I could guess from the back of the gun because a lot of H&Ks have that, like that hammer style.
Oh, you know what? I actually kind of fucked something up.
How does it perform in the game?
So,
what are the stats on it?
In the game, it is a 45 ACP, which doesn't exactly have anything too terribly special. It won't have any special. Well, it's essentially a 9mm, but bigger. So it does a little bit more damage naturally, which is nice. If I'm not mistaken, actually, let me look into. Obviously, the stats are pretty nice. I had a nice sort of reload rating. Sight picture was good, and if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to see. Oh, actually, sure enough, popular culture. Sure enough, the Mark 23 SOCOM was used by your boy Solid Snake. So it's pretty radical. I think it was also
Solid Snake.
I think it was
Good
also
old Navy SEALs. Oh wait, no, Oh Jesus Christ, am I retarded?
It's possible.
No, wait, no, yeah, it is. Oh Jesus, fuck. I don't know. I'm not Navy or Marines or anything.
No, that's fine.
I don't know what they do.
Your army.
Also, yeah, your army, man.
Yeah.
What do you expect? But another thing, also, I think also the Mark 23 was also used by Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, so that's kind of rad. At least I think it was. Could be wrong, but I would say, I mean, where are we putting this, boys? Like, you know, it is used by some of the more popular characters out there, sure, but is there really anything more?
But that doesn't mean it's another cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's another cookie cutter. So
the Mark 23 is fully ambidextrous.
That is true, and that is kind of
cool. Which is nice.
So,
but I do have one gripe about it.
Yeah.
And that is where the magazine release is.
Oh, the mag release is like right there, isn't it?
Yes. So the magazine release is right there. So here's the thing: is if you're not used to shooting 45, say you typically you carry like 9mm, and then you buy into the hype that 45 is a better caliber, which to a certain extent it is.
Yes.
To a certain extent, yes, it is. The problem though is going from a 9mm to a 45. You're not going to be ready for the kickback on this, and so where that magazine release is, if you do not have proper control of the pistol, you will end up dropping your magazine while you are firing.
Yeah, I can see that, honestly.
Because as someone who used to own an HK45, which it's pretty much the exact same style. Okay, they're pretty much the exact same. Only difference is that I believe the HK45 is just slightly shorter than the Mark 23. But I had it happen to me where I went from a 9mm to a 45, and yeah, I was not ready for that. I mean, I would say it's a high quality pistol. It's made by HK. Of course, there is my little personal dilemma with it, with the magazine release. Going from a 9mm to a 45 definitely did not help.
No,
yeah, I was definitely not ready for dropping my magazine at the range in front of other people. That was very embarrassing. Not a good moment for me. Anyway, it's yeah, I mean it's light, it's dependable. It's chambered in 45. There's a reason that SOCOM uses it.
Yeah. So, would you think maybe like putting it maybe above the F12?
To be honest, I would actually put it in B tier.
Really?
I would put it in B tier above the integrally suppressed pistol.
Damn.
Mainly because it is proven.
It is definitely proven for sure. So it
is proven.
It is very proven. All right.
Because if the SEALs can use it, or if the SEALs use it, then it is definitely a good weapon.
Yeah, it is definitely tried and true for sure. So
yes,
we'll give it credit where credit is due. And moving on from that, we have the P5 Compact. This bad boy.
Okay. Looks like it's based off of the Walther PPK.
Definitely looks like it for sure. So let's look into the Walther P5. Mid-70s, designed for German police. It's chambered 9x19. Select picture was good. Reload rating was great. As far as I can see, A+1, 9x18. Pretty standard stuff in the looks of it. Nothing really specialized per se. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and it's nothing special. Let's see. Successful and functional design and high-level functionality confirmed by experts. No great sales within Germany or exported. So this thing didn't exactly go very far. But it definitely has, I mean, I think, yeah, so 3,000 units were adopted by the British Army, and and it looks like it's pretty much about it.
It does look like a little snazzy pistol.
It does actually look pretty good, I will admit.
With the wood grip, it does look stylish.
Yeah. It like actually looking at it, it does actually look pretty. It does look pretty snazzy. Like it looks good.
Like
I would say at least like high C tier. It is an A+1, so I'd probably say maybe under, like above the Makarov for sure. Highest I'd go is maybe B tier, maybe under the Glocks, possibly.
Possibly. Well, how's the damage? Sorry, how's the damage in the game?
It's 9 mil, so it's okay. I won't go through the body armor, but it is okay. So I'd say probably above the Makarov, I think, would probably be good for it.
Yeah, I would actually disagree. I would not say that it's above the Makarov. Because, again, the P5 wasn't really... I mean, like you said, it wasn't really adapted all that much. You know?
Yeah,
it's not true. Really... It hasn't had enough time to actually prove itself in a combat role, I would say.
That's fair. So, probably... I think maybe above the GSH, but below the F12?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Dom, you have any input for this?
For which one?
The P5 compact.
No.
Okay, next up we have the P22. I think y'all know where this is going. It is a little bit different, but it's 22. And is simply, well, it's literally just a P99, but it's a 22. So I think you know where this is going. So we have the good old Walther P38. And
another classic.
Another great sort of classic here, my goodness. Look at this old thing.
It's an iconic pistol.
It's iconic, but I don't like the look of it. I'm sorry,
it does have an odd look to it.
Odd.
Visually, yes, it is odd, it is distinct, however, it was the primary sidearm of the German Wehrmacht.
That is true. The Wehrmacht definitely used this. It is very iconic, especially for that reason. It was a very, very capable pistol compared to something like the P08. This thing was good, for sure. And I would definitely say this possibly could go to B tier because of, you know, the iconic legend with this thing as well. Not saying this is is essentially like not saying this is like
rapport.
Here's the thing: would it go above the Luger though?
That is a difficult question, being the fact that technically the Luger is a pre-World War II design. It was just so effective, but its just design was a bit esoteric, which is why it was reserved for officers generally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think if anything, I would say possibly the P38 might actually go above it, maybe, but it's hard to say for certain. And it was also designed in 1938 and was produced at about the start of World War II. So this is very much a World War II style gun. This was seen probably a lot of combat, so I would definitely say...
Most definitely.
I would say this is definitely B tier for sure. This has seen a lot of combat. So the question is, where's the question? You know, just where should we put this?
Honestly, I would put it at the bottom of B tier.
I think I can see that. So moving on from there, we have the P226 Mark 25. So this is P226. Classic sort of, classic sort of 6-Sawyer, I believe it is. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so I think of everything as a very classic 6-Sawyer 9mm.
Me, I've always had dear God, I don't want to call it a crush on the P226. I do like the P226, like the way it looks, and I've actually shot one before. They're very nice.
Oh yeah. They like
very nice.
I'm not saying it's not bad, but I'm looking at it, I was like, why does it look like a 1911 knockoff? I'm trying not to...
Dudo.
I mean, yeah, it's literally just a boxier 9mm version of a 1911. I can see that. But one thing that is actually kind of cool that I do know about it is that it does have a decocker.
It does.
Which, compared as well also to the M9, is that though it doesn't exactly have a safety, it does actually have a decocker, which is actually a really interesting little feature. And I do admittedly kind of like this thing a little bit. Like, fuck. I don't know. I'm trying not to let personal bias get into the way of this, because I've messed around with it in Receiver 2, and this thing is honestly pretty fun. So, looking into it,
I would say, because what's at the top of C tier right now? It's
top of C tier is the M9.
Beretta, correct?
Yeah, Beretta M9 is top.
I would put the P226 right around there.
So probably above the CZ75.
Because P226s are actually very good day-to-day carry guns. I know that there are a lot of people that do carry it, and a lot of people love it. And there are even people that use them for shooting contests.
I can definitely
But those are usually gonna be usually like your tricked out ones, like the Glock 17, where they have the one with the sight on it that we put up in B tier. They basically look like that a little bit.
Yeah,
with the folded out grip and everything. They're not pistols, and they have great recoil mitigation.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a very nice gun.
Oh yeah. So I would definitely see this just below the M9.
Yeah.
And riding that
just below the M9 because it's not as proven as the M9, but it's still a good gun though.
Yeah, for sure. Running on that same train, we have another version of the P226, but in 45 ACP. We have the P250. Even though it does say P350, but that's only because fuck, it's made by Boyer, so fuck it. So this is the P250. I promise, it's P250.
So this, I don't know that much about. It looks a lot like a... what the hell is it called? I believe it's called a P320, which is a 9mm variant. It also looks a lot like the Army's brand new M17 that just came out recently. And it's chambered in 45. I've actually never fired a Sig Sauer that's been chambered in 45, I mean. So I don't have too much experience on it. I would assume it would be like going from a 9mm to a 45. Like the definitely has more recoil, but it's definitely more lead you're slinging down range. How is it damage-wise in the game?
That's usual 45 ACP stuff, so definitely capable. I don't think I actually have gone and talked about what 45 ACP has.
Yeah, if you would like to tell us a little bit about the stuff that they have.
So 45 ACP, nothing exactly special about it. It like I said, it's about similar to the 9x19, similar to 9mm. I think it's slightly different in damage, but it's not by too much that's going to be entirely different. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as far as I've seen, and even looking through the guide here, it does say it is better than 9x19 in terms of general ballistics, but looking at the stats itself, it's not terribly different to 9mm.
Okay. So looking at the pictures that I have on my end, it does have... I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's not striker fired. It does have a hammer, but I don't believe it's actually like a hammer you can actually pull it back with your thumb.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand the reasoning behind that design. I mean, I'm pretty sure there has to be a reason for it. What that reason is, I don't know, because I'm not well versed in those kinds of pistols. Seeing as how it is a Sig Sauer, they do generally make very good firearms. I mean, I honestly can't really say anything negative about it. Seeing as how I haven't fired one that's chambered in 45. So I would say, honestly speaking, I would put that in C tier, and I would put that above the what is it? It's not the I would put it above the Makarov. Is the next one, oh god, is that called a Lebedev?
So this is the PL-14.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay.
It's fine. So, PL-14 is another 9mm. It is very different.
Oh, it is a Lebedev. The PL-14 Lebedev. Never mind. I'm smart. Yay!
Yes, you are,
Anyway,
yes. Lebedev pistol. So this is the PL-14.
all right. So from what I can see, the Lebedev is a Russian pistol.
Yes.
Russian
semi-auto.
So
That's
it's
Russia.
I've seen this pistol in video games a lot. I have never fired one. Honestly, I probably never will, because how would I ever get one? So I don't see the ban on Russian firearms lifting anytime soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because they do have some very nice firearms.
They do.
So. I haven't heard anything bad about the PL-14. I haven't heard anything good about the PL-14. That's also because I don't really know that much about it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's, from some of the pictures that I'm looking at, it looks like it's made to be like the Russians' version of the Mark 23. It looks like.
It definitely seems like it. I don't know if I really want to.
It does. It has that look, because when you look at the Mark 23 with the suppressor and the laser flashlight or whatever it is on there, and then you look at the PL-14 Lebedev, it also has, like, you know, the suppressor and the laser light whatever on it. And so it looks like that's possibly what they made it for, maybe. Yeah. But apparently this is chambered in 9x19 millimeter.
Yes, it is in fact 9mm. Oddly enough. So, question.
Yeah, honestly, the Wikipedia page that I'm looking at right now is not very long. It is very short.
Yeah, it's pretty short. There isn't really much you can see about it.
Oh god, the trigger pull, apparently the weight is 4 kilograms.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a heavy trigger pull for a 9mm.
Yeah.
Good God.
Well, where are we placing this one, boys?
Well, I would say I don't have that much knowledge about it, so I could see it going into the C tier, maybe below the Makarov, like right below the Makarov.
Just below Makarov? I gotcha. Yeah,
yep, just below Makarov.
Some of these guns that are definitely going to end up going into C tier, because there's not really much you can really talk about in most cases. So
yeah.
Anyways, next up we have something that's definitely going into B tier or above. We have the PMM.
Everybody gangster to Perpetual pulls out the PMM.
And this has a very special thing about it. As to the reasons why it's going above into B tier, even if it is 9x18, this does have its own laser sight, to the point where a sight picture is not necessary, because you just point a laser and shoot. So in terms of close quarters, this is, I think, essentially just a double stack Makarov, because it's a 12+1, and like I said, it's literally just a double stack Makarov with a laser sight on it, and that's pretty much it. So I would say, if anything, this would be B, maybe almost A tier.
Yeah, it's basically a Makarov with a higher ammunition capacity. Jesus. So I could see it being in. I wouldn't put it in A tier. I put it in B tier, and I would put it maybe right below. I could see putting it below the Browning.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'd say it's almost I'd say it definitely reached A tier, just because you don't really have to do much to aim with it. But I can definitely see it being just below the Browning. That thing is extremely iconic, but in terms of functionality, it definitely earns a lot higher than basic C tier. And next up, I believe we do have another 22, but this time 22 Win Mag. So we have a 22 Winchester Magnum with the PMR 30. Spicy little round, which actually has a 30+1 capacity.
30+1.
Oh yeah. There's a fuck ton of rounds in this bitch. And there it is.
God damn.
It is a spicy boy. And because we are also dealing with a new style of caliber.
Now, I have actually seen these in gun stores. And I always thought they looked odd. They are made by Keltec. Keltec is not they're not, a terrible manufacturer. I've never actually owned any of the Keltec products. Some of their guns I think are odd.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of their guns do look odd. Like they do have one of their rifles where it's foldable, but it's like basically just a pistol with a long barrel and a stock on it. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Not saying they're bad guns. Keltec does make good shotguns though. They do make good shotguns. I'm sorry. Back to the pistol. I have seen these. They are, from the ones that I've seen, they are expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of these Keltecs will go for about $700, which is like a Glock 17 will go for like 500, maybe even 400.
Oh yeah, easily. I can see these are extremely expensive guns. I would say, with the high round capacity, it does earn itself above D tier. It's not a basic 22, and it is. I have looked. It is said to be similar to about a 9mm somewhat, with 22 Win Mag, and with the amount of rounds you're sending out, the amount of lead you're sending, this definitely earns itself into C tier. So where specifically should we put the PMR? So, because I'm thinking with something like this,
I would say definitely above the. It is tough. I would say it does belong in C tier, but I don't know where it would belong in C tier. It's definitely above the Bergman, I'll tell you that.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely going above the Bergman. I'd say, if anything, it would probably be above the Imposter M9. Maybe above the Luger. I'm willing to say around that area. Like, is it better than the Luger?
I wouldn't put it above the Luger.
Okay.
No.
So that's where we'll put it there. So, Pocket Hammer 1903. We're not doing the 1906 because it's a 25. So, 25 ACP doesn't matter. 38 ACP is an important thing to talk about, though. So, the Pocket Hammer 1903. So, this thing is similar to the 1911. It's a 7+1, but in 38 ACP, and does not have a slide release.
It does not. So the Pocket Hammer, it actually looks more, compared to the 1902, which was its predecessor, it actually looks closer to a 1911. I mean, honestly, like when you actually put them side by side, you can definitely tell that's not a 1911.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
Like, in comparison to,
but it definitely,
in comparison
it
to
definitely
the
looks close enough.
Yeah, compared to like the 53, like it does somewhat look similar to the M9, but for something like this, you could easily tell.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the 38 was definitely they actually don't make it anymore, if I'm correct.
Damn.
Because it was so long ago, and it just got phased out.
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
I'm pretty sure, like, you can still find it. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that still make 38 for this pistol, but it's like, I would say it's very rare to find that kind of ammunition.
Yeah.
So
where are we gonna put this, per se? Because I can't.
38.
I could see it maybe like under the P5, maybe.
I would put it in D tier.
Really? You'd say probably like
yeah.
probably above the C93. I think would probably be a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Because I think 8mm Roth
But-
is kind of a powerful round.
Yeah.
So I think we'll put it into there. So next up is the PPK, the old James Bond boy.
I would say S tier.
Okay, I will say, like, actually messing around with it a little bit and running with it, not exactly a great S tier. It's a 6+1 380 ACP. It's a small, compact little thing that definitely will work well, you know, but I think it's so freaking small. I wouldn't put it D tier, but I'm not putting it high up C tier. It's iconic, but for functionality, it's not going high. So obviously, I think everyone knows this is the classic
honestly,
James Bond pistol.
Yeah.
So yeah, the PPK is classic, iconic James Bond pistol. So
we did put that in S tier, we'd have to move the 1911 and the C96 up there.
Would.
Yeah, for sure. Because dear God.
So definitely high A tier.
I can see it
like
maybe
in between the C96 and the E11.
Yeah.
All right. So most likely, so is this going above the C96? Is the question. Like, is it above or below?
Well, see, here's the thing: is honestly, I'd put it below the C96.
I absolutely agree with it because it is greatly iconic, but that's mostly what it has going on for it.
But it's
380 just, it's not super great, you know? Like it's
not. Plus, you also have to realize that it's actually not as iconic as the C96.
Yeah. So I would say just because of how iconic it is, it's below the C96. So
yes.
Okay, next up is one that I think, I don't know if you know this one, Lux. It's the PX4 Storm.
Yes, the PX4 Storm. One of my friends actually owns one of these. She loves it. She thinks it's a fantastic pistol.
Yeah. It takes Brita 9mm, M9 mags, 9mm. It definitely works pretty nicely, and hell, it actually, I will admit, it actually does look really good. For anyone that has not seen it, this is the PX4 Storm. This honestly is, I'd say, like, when I was doing loadout stuff for Resident Evil PMC idea Dom came up with, I used this for Dom's pistol because there wasn't a high point just yet, which there is now, but only in 380. But I used this as something that it'd at least work. And it was as simple as you can get, and I used this for his high point because I know he'd use it, for sure. He would take it with him. I got this, and I'll admit, it's sexy as fuck compared to that bitch. It looks damn good.
Yeah, it's not a bad pistol. It's reliable. I would definitely put it, I would say possibly B tier.
Yeah, I'd say like sort of maybe mid B, I think.
Yeah, mid B.
Alright. So we'll go what? I think probably below max 9?
I would say in between the two Glocks.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. Because the G17 Custom is kind of special sort of thing. So,
yep.
Next up, we have the Ruby pistol. And no, it's not
Ruby pistol.
Yeah. So let me show you real quick. This is not anything along the lines of the, I don't know exactly what it's called, but this isn't like, you know, the fun Ruby. This is like the actual gun Ruby, which is this little thing in 32 ACP.
Yep.
It's a 9+1. Reload rating is pretty okay, but there is no slide release on it.
Oh god, it's French.
Yeah, it's fucking.
That looks like shit.
Actually,
it's French.
No. Yeah, actually, no.
That explains a lot, actually.
Actually, no. It's actually made by the Spanish. Oddly enough, it was adopted by the French Army though, in World War One. So, yeah.
It looks like shit.
Yeah, made by the Spanish and used by the French. So, fuck.
If it was used by the French, I can guarantee you none of them were fired. They were most likely dropped on the ground when they surrendered. Anyway, I would say
this is probably going to be D tier. I'm going to be honest. This thing is not super great.
All right, let's see. Wars: World War I, Polish-Soviet War, Polish-Lithuanian War, the Rif War, whatever that. I actually haven't heard of that one. I might look that up later. The Spanish Civil War. That makes sense. Winter War and World War II.
Oh wait, hold on. So we have World War I. We have
In service.
Polish-Soviet, Polish-Lithuanian, the Rif War, which was 21 to 26 between the Spanish and the Berber tribes of the mountains Rif region in Morocco. The Spanish Civil War, the Winter War, also, which was, where the great meme of when the tree starts speaking Finnish.
Yep.
And then there's World War II. So that's what we're looking at in terms of its service, which actually does have legitimate service, but it doesn't mean it's any better. It was decommissioned by the French in 58, so
yes.
For the better.
Well, then again, it has lasted longer than some of the pistols in the C and B tier.
That is true, but that's because they were designed sooner, and
that is true.
I mean, it's around that, especially that time between like the 18 to mid 1900s, have been like a lot of very serious big wars, and there's been a lot of stuff going on there. So, makes sense that a lot of older sort of pistols compared to nowadays would see a lot more service compared to some of the newer ones because they just haven't really been used in wars most of the time, or any sort of major conflicts, I suppose. But we're still dealing with the 32 ACP, so I'm kind of like, I can see high D tier for its service, but even still, I'd put it like above the Explorer 22 because it's 32.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm feeling. Just
I'd say about mid D tier where it's at.
Yeah. So the Ruby shall go there. Next up is the ST-2111. A bit of a different sort of thing here. Which, similar to the Defender 45, I think. I believe that's a good sort of comparison because it is in 9mm. Actually, no, I think the Defender 45 is 45 ACB, but oh well. But anyways, ST-2111. 9x18, 17 plus 1, and has good stats all around. There was no problems dealing with it. It also has little fiber sights, as you can see by that little bit of red right there.
It looks like a somewhat futuristic version of a 1911.
It kind of does, honestly.
It's essentially what it is. It's a modern variant of the 1911 A1.
Yeah, sure enough. 9mm modern variant of the 1911. So a double stack magazine made for competition shoots. So yeah, not really much said. So probably would put it. I feel like if anything, it'd probably go above the GSH or P5, I suppose. High round capacity, but not really. Maybe I put it a little higher, I suppose. Maybe above the PL14, maybe, but I don't know.
I would say above. Yeah, probably above the Lebedev.
Yeah. Nothing against it or anything, but it's honestly, it's a pretty capable little thing. So, with that all said and done, finally, we get to the Tech.
The one we've all been waiting to shit on.
All been waiting to absolutely shit on. The Tech 9. The Tech 9.
Okay, where the fuck do we start?
The most fucking iconic weapon from Detroit all the way to fucking West Side in California.
Yeah, let's be honest. Everyone knows what the fuck this is.
Stamp sheet metal.
We all know what it is. It's supposed to be a semi-automatic pistol. A lot of people will take it, modify it. Yeah, they did not do that. They went against the manufacturer's warranty and altered their pistols to be submachine guns.
But there are
machine
some
pistols, if you will.
Yeah, but there are some actual pistol version of Tech 9s. They actually exist.
That may be true. but that doesn't still counter the fact that they are stamp metal piece of shit.
That is true. But sure enough,
Like, there are some stamp metal guns that I don't mind. There are quite a few I actually like. The Sten and the M3 Grease gun, for example. I love those things. I love them.
They are actually.
I hate Tech 9.
Yeah, like, okay, hear me out. Literal Angry Tube was made with 45 ACPs. Those things work. Yeah. The Tech 9 is a tiny little piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
So, quickly going through, it was originally intended for, basically being used by the military, but it was a 9mm, and so the lack of interest was sent out.
What?
And so, they were sent off into the civilian market as kind of a...
Yes, I filled them up.
As an interesting little semi-auto pistol. People immediately went and fucked around and made it fucking an actual SMG. So they made an open bolt version. Because 9mm, easy as ever, bada bing, bada boom, you're set to fucking go. That's just how it is. What more do you expect of this thing? So, to go through stats, we have a 32+1 capacity. I think the largest capacity out of all of these, that are still pistols, mind you, I think it's safe to say this is definitely going in F tier. Is it enough to be put in cursed tier?
The Tech 9?
It was in California. Add California tier.
Yeah, add a California tier. I mean, you might as well add a California/Detroit tier.
Oh, fuck it. You know what? No, I'm making it a Detroit tier.
Detroit tier.
It is not California. It is Detroit. Fuck you. And I'm making it black because
there we go.
Make it like fucking lavender colored. Make it that fucking lavender color.
Lavender colored, brother.
Detroit. And throw that other Tech 9 looking piece of crap in there too.
Well, this is the illegal version, but I mean, I feel that.
It goes to the same fucking spot.
Oh, hang on, no. For the illegal version, you need to put a West Side tier.
Would that be above or below Detroit?
That's the question. I'm not bothering.
or you could just or you could just do Detroit/West Side.
There you go.
All right, fuck it.
There you go.
Detroit/.
There we go. Detroit/West Side. That's where it
there
is.
You go.
Just not even.
I don't know if we're crossing a line with this joke or not, but
we're not.
We're not, because let's be honest.
If say we are, they can go ahead and suck my hairy Norwegian ass.
I mean, because we're not. We're not wrong.
We're not wrong.
We're not.
They can boo us all they want. We're not wrong.
I wouldn't say we're necessarily in the right either, though. But
gives a shit.
Give me a hand.
Fuck it. All right, next gun.
All right, next gun. We have the TT-33. This is the Tokarev.
Tokarev. Isn't that the one that has the integrated suppressor?
No.
No.
That would be the. That would actually be the Makarov PB, I believe it is.
Oh.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, we've already dealt with the Makarov PM, which is the regular variant. The PB is the silent
That
variant.
wasn't the bandage I was pushing.
Oh god, I could just imagine.
So
who here remembers fucking Zach's gun rants? Did you shoot me with a Tokarev? That was a Tokarev.
It possibly was. So the Tokarev is in 7.62 by 25, which is better than a 9mm, naturally, because it is a smaller round going a lot faster.
Got that. I need to be checking for that fucking tape.
So I might put it up into B tier.
I could definitely see that for sure.
Not going any higher because it's Russian.
Russian, but at the same time, these sites are honestly pretty incredible. But
wait, see, here's the
It's a cheap Russian piece of shit.
I would put it in the A tier.
Really?
A tier.
I would put it at the bottom of A tier though.
Yeah, bottom of A tier. Okay.
I can definitely see that because like we got some pretty we got pretty sparse with calibers here and everything. But I can definitely see like
maybe if they got rid of that fucking star on the handle, maybe it would be higher A tier.
Make it anywhere else, but Russia.
Any kind of commie signal or symbol. No, thank you.
Yeah,
it goes to the bottom of the tier.
There's also 2 stars, oddly enough, on there. So
yeah, it's commie.
It's definitely commie, but honestly, I kind of do like the
It's so good, I'd say F.
I definitely kind of like the 7.62 Tokarev, so, but we will put it into A tier at the bottom of
Bottom
18.
You know what we should have done? We should have made a Brazil tier.
That is
That would just
well.
be catball for what? Like,
Honestly,
That's what
actually, no.
it is.
Change the Detroit West Side one. It makes more sense if it's Brazil.
Brazil tier.
Brazil.
Brazil tier.
I kind of like having Detroit West Side, but you know what? Fuck it, Brazil.
Just fucking send this shit to Brazil.
You are going to Brazil.
Believe it or not, straight to Brazil.
Believe it or not, straight to Brazil. Okay,
So, does that mean the Digalov or whatever the fuck it is? The fucking Diglett?
The Diglett?
The
Does
Diglett.
the Diglett go to Brazil?
No, because then we'd have to get rid of the cursed tier. Well, I mean, Okay, but would it be above or below the Tech 9s? I want to talk a couple of things here. To get back on track, let's talk about the USB match and USB tactical. So,
No, I thought we were doing the wall rod.
no, we're not doing the
we're
wall
not.
rod
We're saving that one.
Yeah,
we're
okay,
saving that
wall
one.
rod.
Well, I'm willing to put it into D tier, which is as far as it'll go. It's not when you fuck. I'm not,
It's deep here.
Well, let's save the well rod for last.
Yeah.
Let's decide on it last.
yeah. So,
All right. What's next?
so we have the USB match and USB tactical both. So we're dealing with the USB match 9mm and the USB tactical as the 45. Because there is
Wasn't the USB match the gun in Half-Life 2?
yes,
It is.
it very much
Yeah,
is.
okay.
So,
All right. S tier. S tier. No,
There you go.
no. I will listen. I'm going to die on this fucking hill. If it's good enough for Gordon Freeman, it's good enough to go into S tier. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Even
actually something I can agree with.
All
That
right.
shit wiped out
Withers
the Combine.
agrees. Withers agrees. I agree. 2 against 1.
God damn it.
S
dude.
tier.
Fuck.
It's our first S tier.
Our first actual S tier. We're
It has to be
deep
the
in.
match variant, not
Half-Life
the other
The
2
variant.
match, not the tactical.
The
So-
Half-Life 2 Gordon Freeman pistol is the fucking workhorse of Half-Life. Okay.
That is fair.
No.
I will admit.
It is.
I have played-
It is the classic Half-Life workhorse.
Half-Life
There's
2.
no surpassing it.
Yeah, it is. In
Half-Life
fact,
2,
yeah,
as in the
it
first
is.
Half-Life
None of these guns have killed more head crabs
or
than the
Combine.
Half-Life pistol.
Yes.
Anything
Or
really.
Combine.
All right.
Or
fuck
Combine. Yes.
It. Fuck it. S tier.
S tier.
Absolute top
First S
notch.
If it's good enough for
USB
Gordon
match.
Freeman, it's good enough for S tier.
That's fair. So, all right, the USB tactical. Where are we putting that then?
That would be considering it's got the same it's got a tied to its legacy that's tied to the USB match. It would be an A tier, but we don't see it.
That is true. So probably A tier. Fucking. You know what? I mean, honestly, I'm kind of
A
feeling
tier
like
below
probably,
below 10 millimeter.
So even going above the 1911s, I can see
No.
that.
A tier below the no. Put it below the M1911s, but put it above the C96.
Both 1911s. My goodness. I'm willing to put it above the classic 1911s, but not above
Connor.
Connor.
2 World Wars. Okay.
Not only 2 World Wars, when the 1911 was being phased out, all special forces basically rallied and said, no, we want our own 1911. So they have their own model 1911, which is still in
do.
service for U.S. Special Forces.
They do.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
They're actually really nice.
So
Look at all. They're hell.
They're very fucking nice.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So what's this next pitch?
So the next one we have here is, pull this up for you boys. This is the VP9. This is a 9x19 again, 15 plus 1.
Okay, it looked like a Glock initially, so that's why I was a little worried.
Yeah, no, it's not a Glock thing.
No. Oh,
So pretty nice stats overall.
But still another polymer body. Like, and I have an issue with polymer body.
Curious, what's with the double trigger?
I feel like
that's the safety feature. You find them on Glocks too.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
Basically, make sure it only goes off when you're
it-
actually, pulling the
yeah.
trigger, not anytime else.
So if that's
Depressed.
yeah, if that's on it, then that means that it doesn't have an actual safety on it. If I'm correct.
Yeah, and I actually have a very similar sort of. I mean, not really too much. I have a nice little airsoft variant of that actually has the exact same thing. So this one does have a safety on it, but it's a little tiny thing that's hard to pull. So a nice little thing is that if that little extra trigger, it's like in the middle. But if that isn't pulled, then the actual trigger itself can't be pulled. But as soon as that gets in, it totally unlocks and you can pull the trigger. I have a little.
Yep.
So I would put that in high B, low A. Personally.
Seriously? I mean.
But again, me issues with polymer bodies. Okay, that's just me.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
I would say put it.
I'd say honestly, C
I would put
tier.
it between the Browning and between the double stack Makarov.
Really? I was honestly thinking you guys would probably go for C because like it is very like cookie cutter. Like this thing is pretty similar.
It may
to
be
most
cookie cutter,
else.
but it's got better safety features.
That is true, but a lot of other. Well, I guess not many others. Actually.
Oh, hang on. There is one gripe I have about it, and again, it's the magazine release. But this one's chambered in 9mm, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad per se. So we're putting it below the Browning. My goodness, I'm kind of surprised actually.
Again, our fucking Lord and Savior John Moses Browning.
Indeed, must be.
Is that what I think it is?
What, this one right here?
Yeah, is that what I think it is?
This is the Webley 1913.
Okay.
So.
Thank God. I was about to have a fucking aneurysm.
It's not
like you would have heard some very colorful language if it was what I thought it was.
Literally would have actually been put. I mean, fuck, where would you put that? I have to ask.
Oh, the fucking Nambu number.
The Nambu, yeah.
It's chambered in 32 ACP.
The Nambu number 4, straight to Brazil.
Straight to Brazil.
Bottom of Brazil.
Yeah.
So real quick,
probably no. You need to make a whole new tier that's like 5 different tiers down called Tojo shit.
No, it's a British pistol. Yeah, Brazil.
I'm talking the fucking.
It's also chambered in 32.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that thing's disgusting.
Mind you,
it's like I'm just looking at it. It looks like a fucking Luger knockoff.
I mean, it kind of.
I don't even see the full picture.
There's a 455 version.
Yes, that's the one we're talking about.
That's the one we're talking about.
There's a 455 Webley Auto. That's the one we're talking about specifically. And I actually have to look into this to see what it is capable of. So, Webley Auto. Nothing really special, but it is pretty deadly. From the looks of it. Nothing against armor, but
I'm an idiot.
Capable.
I thought it was chambered in 32. What the hell?
No, this thing is 455 Webley Auto. So, it's a nice 7+1. It's definitely a weird sort of looking gun.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I read something wrong then.
Okay, if it was in 32, I was going to say no, F tier.
Yeah, total F tier, but no, this is 455 Webley.
Yeah, no, my bad. I was looking at the Mark 1 that it entered police service in 1911 in a 32 ACP model for the London Metropolitan Police.
Yeah. And they
bad. Yeah, that's what I read.
And they used the 1913 variant in the Royal Navy. So that's kind of an interesting little thing. Yeah, so there's actually some pretty interesting little things here and there.
Her Majesty's Seaman.
Indeed. Her Majesty's Seaman actually used this thing. Yes. So
I don't think it's Her Majesty anymore.
Well, Brother in Christ just look like I give a shit.
I mean,
like if you want my Irish heritage start coming out, I'll tell you.
There is no Tooth Fairy, there is no Easter Bunny, and there is no Queen of England.
That is now actually a true statement. Oh fuck.
Yeah, Megamind just keeps getting funnier every single year.
Literally, when it first came out, it's like
it predicted
fine wine.
Megamind predicted the death of Queen Elizabeth.
Well, not really predicted. It didn't exactly say specifically when, but they knew that it would happen. Except it didn't, because she's still alive somewhere. As to where she is or how she's still alive, we don't know. She's not human.
She's still alive.
She couldn't get the life out of her husband.
Yeah.
We all know she was a necromancer, okay?
Yeah.
She was just draining the life out of her husband.
So, it was actually also dubbed into the Royal Horse Artillery and Flying Corps. Very interesting. So, where exactly are we putting this thing? I would say this definitely would probably work in B tier and C tier because it's pretty much no different, but it is different in its looks. But it's also British and looks very weird. So,
I mean, British kind of brings it down to the bottom of
It does look very British, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. It's very boxy.
Like if
and
you ask
barrel.
if you ask a British child to draw a gun,
Yeah, that's.
I feel like if I held this gun, my
Like
teeth would
damn thing.
immediately start getting crooked.
Yeah, I feel
And
that.
I'd immediately start drinking tea.
I mean, does it?
I say we make a British tier and put it below Brazil.
but
All in favor,
No.
say aye.
No.
come on, come on, Connor, let your Irish heritage
I'm
come
not
out.
letting the Irish heritage kind of mess with this sort of thing. All right.
Oh, fine. Let your Scots heritage come out and tell you the fucking truth.
Oh, I be fucking
Fuck
showing
the
you.
British.
I be showing you actual Scots heritage right up your arse, you end up talking that stuff. Anyways,
Which one should I
Fuck
take
the
out?
British.
Oh
I
my god.
have to ask the question: are we willing to put it possibly above the Bergman, or is it going below it?
It's going below it.
It was the Bergman. The Bergman was it? It was German, right?
It was American.
It was
It
American.
was American. Oh yeah, definitely below the Bergman.
Fuck.
I think the Bergman was American.
Hold on, let me look. I want to look at this real quick.
Yeah, let's fact check real quick before you make a mistake.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Doesn't say specifically.
Hang on a
Manufacturer
second.
was
Let me
Waffen
see.
Bergman. So there's that.
I'm pretty sure he's German.
Nope, that's German.
And it
Doesn't
could
look
also
like
be Dutch.
That is true. Let's have a look here.
Well,
Developed by a German
either way,
designer.
it's British, so it's definitely going below.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So developed by a
doesn't
German
matter.
designer and sold by Theodore Bergman.
The only thing that would go below it is something that's French.
Yeah,
And lo and
something
behold, the
is.
French thing is already down below it.
Yes, and that is in
Yeah.
D tier where
The
it
French
belongs.
gun's already below it.
So we'll stick it
Yep.
C tier.
Wrong.
It's a capable gun. Don't get me wrong, but below the Bergman.
You know, that does bring up a problem, though. That does bring up a
Yep,
problem.
no,
the
that-
Well
it's-
Rod does better than that.
It is not
That is true.
French. It is
That
not
is-
German. It is Belgian.
What is?
The Bergman.
It's
Oh,
Belgian?
it's
Oh, yeah, it's
Belgian.
definitely
Belgian.
British.
Instinct. Established means PPR.
It's
Hysteria
definitely
Belgium.
better than.
All right then.
All right, there's still the well rod.
That is
Hey, the
true.
Well Rod is actually not bad.
Okay,
The
the
well
well
rod
Rod-
is actually
shit.
the well
It's
rod
not
is
bad.
actually battle proven. I will give it that.
the well
It's
rod is
not-
battle
hey,
proven, but
it's like, hey.
functionally,
Wacky as what it is. Do not diss on the bolt action pistol.
We're not dissing on it. It's cursed, but it's not bad
okay,
cursed.
it's cursed, but it's not terribly cursed. I would be willing to put it somewhere in D
It
tier.
looks.
Wait,
It
hell,
looks-
we could give it we could make a blurst tier. Blurst.
Okay, you know what? You know what? Here. hang
Functional.
on.
I would put the well rod solid C. Solid C.
Here, you know what? We'll make a blurst here for this specifically, and we'll color it a little bit differently because it's bordering on like yes, it's good, but it's not great.
It's worst.
But I
But
know
it, would,
sometimes
but it performs better than F tier. It does its job.
it does do its job. That is fair to say.
Like F tier is you're better off hitting them with the gun.
Yeah, like F tier it works, but at what cost? And admittedly, like
The Well Rod worked.
okay, you know what? Honestly, I'm willing to say it's high F tier because it
End of
does
story.
work, and it's the quietest gun in the game. It is cool, but at what cost? I ran with it, and
What cost? Connor, as long as you don't get detected, you're
That
shooting motherfuckers in the back of the head.
that is true, and I did fuck that up. But it still was at what cost, especially when you are going to get spotted, especially in the take and hold bit. It worked, and it definitely
Yeah,
was really fun to work with, and
You
I
only just run with one gun and take and hold? No. Did you ever just run with one gun? No.
well, no, but I
Yeah,
did anyways, and I
Rod.
showed that at the very least, with my skill, I
Well,
was
because you're a
able.
dumbass.
I did pull off two. I did pull hold 2 and won that. Hold 3 would have fucking killed me easily.
Okay,
But
I do have to ask the question: is that the well rod
to.
Mark 1 or Mark 2?
Ro-
Okay,
It's
so that's
well-
the 32.
it is the
Yeah.
Well Rod Mark 2. So now,
So here,
From design,
Here's the
but
thing.
it was taken
What-
by the.
what tier were you guys originally gonna put the water? D tier? No way. No, it can't. It can't go into D tier because it has to be above the fucking British pistol.
I'd say
It is
That's
British.
fair.
it is
definitely
British, but I'd say
Oh
it's,
yeah,
it's
never
a,
mind.
like a
But it's
solid,
better.
solid C, no higher than that, because it's a
Okay,
good gun. I'd want it on my side for certain things, but I
Hang
got
on.
better options.
yes,
I
that's true.
would take the well rod and I would put it. It's the one gun I would take and put above the
Yeah.
Bergman. The one British gun.
At least one. Okay, so
Yeah, I would agree.
So
Oh my
It's
god!
a
Just
solid C.
so
just
would
just
we-
wait till we get to the assault rifles.
Oh lord, no,
Oh,
that's
God.
gonna be fun.
Oh, my
it's
God,
gonna
I'm
take
gonna-
a little bit. because
Oh
we-
my god!
So real quick, so
That's gonna
the
get heated.
so the Webley 1913 is staying below the Bergman.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
so
The well rod is going above the Bergman.
The
Okay,
the
so-
well rod is going above the Bergman.
No,
not because
Webley stays
no.
below the
yeah, sorry.
Bergman.
So the Webley
Connor.
stays below.
Well, Rod.
Are we gonna put?
Well rod.
Are we willing to put it
Well
down
rod
goes
anywhere
above the
goes
Bergman.
above the Bergman.
Okay, but the question is, are we gonna put it anywhere lower into like D tier? Is the question. Because we do have the 1912.
Well,
there,
it
but
has
only
to
because
be
of
above the
functionality.
French pistol.
That is true. So it has to be about here. So is it better or worse than the Borchardt, the C93?
Wait, say again.
So the C93, is the Webley 1913 better or worse than it?
It's called the
I'd
C.
Yeah,
say it's
what?
at the bottom of C only by the grace of it's got a big round at the moment for a
Yeah,
pistol.
but that's
does?
really about it. And honestly, there's
particular
also
one.
there's also an 8mm Roth, I think it is, or fucking have to look. God damn it. 1912.
Look,
So no, it's a 9x23 Steyr. Excuse me. So we have a 9x23 Steyr in D tier, mostly because of functionality. So there is that. So the question is like, so obviously it's gonna have to be like we have an interesting range. So is it good enough to be in C tier below the Bergman, or is it just shit enough to be like above possibly, because British?
okay,
Is
we're
it
still
enough
talking about
to be?
we're still talking about the Wellaby.
Or
the whatever it is,
the
the-
Webley, yeah, the Webley. So, are we gonna put it into D tier above the C93?
Webley is D tier. I would say D tier above the C93. Yes.
Okay, so above the C93. I won't put it above the Pocket Hammer because that's not terrible per se.
Yeah.
So
Now
now,
for the well rod,
the
last of
well
the
rod,
pistols, that is solidly above the Bergman.
definitely above
So
the
it's
Bergman.
not dead
So
last.
It's not dead last, but it still deserves C because of what it can do. It is the quietest pistol in the game, just ahead of the
One of the quietest-
OTS-38.
Quietest
I
pistol
believe it
ever.
is. It is the quietest pistol in the entire game, just above the OTS-38.
World.
In the world especially, but it's also above the OTS-38, which was an extremely silent revolver. So the question is, where is it going in C tier or possibly above? Because I can definitely see it C tier. It isn't exactly meant to be
Just
used by itself. That's
Just
the big thing.
above the Bergman. That's what I'm telling you.
All right, we'll put it just above there. So that's where it goes. And that ends the semi-auto pistols entirely. But I'd be lying if I kind of wanted to go back and do this again. Because it's actually been quite some time since we even did this recording session in general. And as plenty of comments have pointed out, some opinions are definitely not exactly in the right sort of spot. And even I can agree with that. Hell, this entire tier list was recorded on the 22nd of December of last year. I definitely had quite a bit of work just to go through with not only going back and seeing everything we did and even watching all of the cringe things we said and put into tier lists, but I also had to re-record a lot of the footage. After redoing a lot of the footage and redoing runs just to see what exactly it's like, I have a few changes in opinion. So I figured I'd go and do an entire tier list all by myself and redo it to make it look quite a bit better at least. So here's how the actual tier list looks at first. This is what we finally decided upon, and here is the new version I decided to put together myself. I'll go ahead and go through all the different changes that have been made. First things first, there was the Mark 22 Mod 0. This one's slightly surprising, but there was a pretty good reason as to why, and I think some footage does show why the Mark 22 Mod 0 was changed. It was demoted from C tier, as it was just a simple 9mm, but was put down to D tier just below the 1912. The reason for that is because there's no slide lock on it, and I didn't even realize it back when we first recorded this, but after going through and rerunning that, I found out that there's actually quite a few problems with that, and it definitely messes with me pretty bad. Next up was the order of 22 LRs, and I am willing to put a little bit higher the Explorer 22 compared to all other 22 LRs. It does have a 25+1 magazine, and that's pretty good. That doesn't really put it any higher than, say, the C93, because it's still a 22 LR. I will admit, the hypervelocity hollow points are good. I even use them, actually. That doesn't mean it's not 22. So the order for now is going to be the Explorer 22, the P22 because of its modability, the Match 22, the Mark IV, and the Mark III. Next up is the PMR 30. This was promoted to a much higher point on the C tier because, well, we have 30 rounds to work with. It's similar to a 5.7, just, well, in 22 Win Mag. Pretty good though. The Luger was also promoted to a higher C tier because I think it definitely deserves a little bit more credit. It's pretty cool, at least. I think history tells its own tale. Next up, the P226. This was promoted actually from C tier to B tier, because honestly, the P226 is actually pretty rad, I'll admit. After that, the G17 Custom was put in from B tier to A tier. I'll admit, I did admittedly put my personal favorite gun, the 1911 A1 Tactical, into S tier. So I felt like I had to do my own due diligence and put the G17 up higher. Much higher, even into A tier. But I'm not putting it with the 1911 A1 Tactical because the actual integrated optic on it is not exactly as great. The way that the optic looks is a lot tighter and more restrictive, but the dot looks a lot better on the G17 compared to the 1911 Tactical, which is much more open and is a lot bigger. That's my big gripe. After that, the PMM was put up to a higher A tier because, well, it has an integrated laser. I think it definitely deserves a little bit more credit. The 5.7 was sadly not able to make it into S tier, despite a lot of people going and probably still gonna rage against me. I'm willing to say, if the USP Match 9mm was not in S tier, the 5.7 would most certainly earn its S tier for sure. So I am putting it to honorary S tier. The only reason why I'm not putting the USP Match probably down in like B tier at best. If it's good enough for Gordon Freeman, it's good enough for me. And finally, the Cyber Pistol, promoted from A tier to S tier. This was most certainly in part because of my run getting turbo penetrators. Granted, it is only a chance, and that's also the reason why the 5.7 also has an honorary S tier. It's only because the effectiveness of a round not only depends on what it's capable of penetrating through, especially when it comes to tier 2 and tier 3 armor, but also the chance of getting it. You could easily mess that up badly and not even have a good chance at all. But at the same time, you can still at least have a chance where you do get it, and you're all set. It is all based on random chance, and that even goes with the Cyber Pistol too. I was lucky to get the turbo penetrators, and there's quite a few other different rounds as well, but it's also a variety of rounds that makes it a lot better too. But that's it. That is the tier list, and I think I'm mostly satisfied with this. As we've said before, if at all you disagree with any of this, by all means, go on to Tier Maker and make your own tier list. There's nothing at all wrong with that. It should be open for anyone and everyone to use, change, and make for themselves. by all means, if you want to, you can go and make one of your own. You can record it with yourself or friends, what have you.